watching a Fox Sports presentation of B.A.S.S.
Good morning and welcome to Bassmaster Live. Welcome to a very important tournament, the end of the road, a long journey. The St. Croix Bassmaster Open presented by 7 Tackle Warehouse EQ qualification race is going to wrap up right here at this place in Alabama. Lake Martin here, 44,000 acres here in, I would say, Mid-East Alabama, not too far from the Georgia line. Our takeoff at Wind Creek State Park. We've got 120 boats left at the end of the season, literally 9 months after we opened it up down at Okeechobee in Florida. We have got the full field competing today and tomorrow. We'll wrap it up on Saturday. But a lot of issues. Everything is going to be solved and resolved during the course of these 3 days here, so we're really looking forward to. Of course, we've got a change in venue. This one actually originally scheduled for Lake Hartwell in South Carolina. A lot of recovery still going on. Lake Hartwell's fine, but the folks in that 100-mile radius there really have got a lot to deal with. They didn't need to deal with the Opens anglers this week, so we're happy to move it to Lake Martin, very historic place. Tommy Sanders here with Ronnie Moore, and our special guest, Elite Star for all the years of the Elite, Bill Lowen. Bill, thank you. Hey. Welcome. Great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me here.
All right, let's listen to what's going on out there.
Not to think about it, honestly. I'm just going to go fishing and see what happens. I said a lot of prayers, so trying to stay not stressed and just go fishing. That's all I can do, so just pray for a good limit today and see what happens.
Talk to me about the transition from Hartwell to Lake Martin here. What was that like?
Yeah, I really like Hartwell. It's been good to me in the past, so I was a little bummed out to hear that, but there's always positives for everything that happens. So the field size got cut down, which helps me in the points a lot. So I was excited to hear that the field size was cut down. So there's always something positive in the negatives. So you got to remember that.
Hey guys, Evan Kung here, day one, Logan Martin. Last tournament of the year. It was pretty tough practice, tough to get a bigger bite, 2-pound bite. Hoping to go out today, catch 10 pounds. If I can catch 10 pounds in a row for the next couple days, I'll feel all right about it. Feel like I did what I could. Hoping to have a little more. Maybe run into one big largemouth, but we're just going to go out there, catch as many fish as we can, hopefully cull up to about 10.5 pounds, and call it a day. We'll see you guys at weigh-in.
Yeah, so, hey, just excited to be here, Lake Martin. We were supposed to be at Hartwell. Brutal with the hurricane, so, thoughts and prayers to those people. But, we're here. We're on Lake Martin. I'm excited to be here. I feel good about this event. A lot of fish are going to be caught. It's just really hard to get, any size. But currently, we're in second place in the EQ, so that's been the goal all year, is to make the Bassmaster Elite Series. We're in second place in the points. We have a chance to win Angler of the Year today for sure. Easton Fothergill's 20-something points ahead of me. The problem with that is the kid is so good that he's not going to probably finish outside of the top 20. But either way, we're going to have fun today. This means a lot. This tournament's huge. We got a decent cushion between me and ninth place, so hopefully you can just stay in there and, as long as we finish in that top 9, that'd be a huge success. It's been a dream of mine my whole life to make the Bassmaster Elite Series. I grew up as a child, it was all Bassmaster. It was the Bob Cobb days. I'm definitely a lot older than most of the kids here, but I just have never really tried to make it, and so this year I've been all in and excited, and hopefully we do it. It'd be cool just to get a decent limit both days, to try to make it and see what happens and go from there. But today, hopefully a great day, but either way we're gonna have fun, go fish hard and see what happens.
I feel good. We're fourth in points. We're about 45 or so points ahead of the elite cut. I've been pretty calm all week. I'm a little bit nervous this morning, not gonna lie, but at the end of the day, I think if I just treat it like every other tournament, we'll be all right. This lake's full of spotted bass. That's what I fish for 24/7 at home, and the only difference is they're a lot smaller here, but we're just gonna go hit as many high percentage places as we can, throw a crankbait this morning for the first hour. That's been a good deal, and then after that, honestly, just throw a topwater down the bank, throw a Berkeley Chopo, and fish a lot of brush with a drop shot and a jig, and just hope we end up culling up enough to get towards that double-digit mark. I think that's what it's going to take, so I'm excited.
Yeah, so last tournament, can't believe we are finally here on Lake Martin in October. It's fall. Fishing's been, hit or miss. There's a lot of fish in this lake, and the key is getting those 2-pound bites. It is fall. I'm just going to be buzzing around. I'm going to be fishing a lot of new water, fishing shallow, fishing out deep, and just trying to piece something together and hopefully get those 2+ pound bites. So a little nervous, but really excited to get out there and see what the day has to offer.
Nerves a little bit, but it's like anything else after takeoff. It just kind of comes down to what you prepared for, just hoping that it pans out. I do feel, the more that this has gone, I've got a chance to reflect this morning. I am blessed to even have a chance on the final tournament of the year, because there's a lot of guys that would love to be in my position, as nerve-wracking as it is. So, hoping we can get to 10 pounds. I think 10 pounds a day on this fishery, the way it's been fishing, not just now, but previously and previous history and the history I have here, 10 pounds a day will normally get you in a pretty good position. So how am I feeling? I don't know. Can you ask me again in about an hour?
Well, some of the thoughts, some of the predictions, the game plans, the speculation from the 9 anglers we're going to be in the boat with all day long today. Those 9 anglers happen to be the top points getters throughout the season on the St. Croix Bassmaster Opens and the EQ, the Tackle Warehouse EQ race, which is the route to the Bassmaster Elite Series, Ronnie. And these guys, they did not get to pre-fish here. They did get a couple of days of practice, though.
Yeah, absolutely, Tommy. And it's great to be here on a Thursday. Normally, when you watch our Bassmaster Opens coverage, it's the final day, it's championship day, the top 10 fishing for the grand prize. But we get to see this entire tournament play out. We get to see how these anglers adjust from, like we said, Lake Hartwell was the planned scheduled event. They adjust to Lake Martin. Practice, like you said, no pre-practice scouting. Hank Weldon chose this lake because it's similar to Hartwell in some ways, and it's a place that no one else probably had a ton of experience on, as fair as it could be. And the 121 boats out there are going to be fighting for every point and every dollar they can get, Tommy. But the top 9 that we'll be with today have done so well all season, and they're just hoping for at least 2 more great days of fishing, maybe 3 if they make it to Saturday.
Well, one of the anglers we heard from there, Emil Wagner from Georgia. Let's get out to him live right now on Lake Martin.
Already hooked up.
Little guy.
Bill, you fished here in Elite Series events, and in some lakes you go out and I need to catch 5 fish, get a limit real quick, and then move on to bigger ones. This week, some guys are going to catch 1 fish bigger than some people's 5 fish limit. So it's we could fish all day for a couple bites, or you could try to go catch a limit real quick.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting event. I believe are we fishing on a 12-inch size limit?
Yes, 12 inches.
So you're exactly right about that. I think that this tournament's going to be a good one for the books maybe, because it's going to be a grinder, and the guy that catches that better than average fish is going to put himself ahead. But you're right. Some guys are going to catch 1 fish that weighs more than most guys' limits. And I think at the end of the tournament, after 3 days, that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, there's just a rock pile up there.
And we're getting into the fall, so anything can happen,
One big thing about our 9 cameras today, they are the top points getters for the season. These are all the anglers that are inside the qualification for the Elite Series. And Tommy, one big thing about the 9 that we have on camera, a ton of them are great with spotted bass. So they were all excited. They got their work done. They were going to Hartwell, a place they stylistically fit. Guys like Easton, Cody, Tucker, Emil, Andrew. I mean, literally every single person's either a spotted bass angler in some form or fashion or a smallmouth angler. And so this lake, could set up in their wheelhouse very comfortably, but culling's going to be a very important deal. You don't want to mess up and lose an ounce or two here.
Yeah, we have a different baseline for what's a good keep, the gold standard here, what's a game changers. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well, but meantime, let's get out to 9th place.
Catch that one out from underneath this dock that I caught in practice. I had one about 2.5, 2 3/4. He's still there. I caught him early in practice. He got to still be there. There's one. Little one. That one ain't gonna help, but he'll go in the box to start with.
I always like watching Matt. He gets excited.
I don't know if it's 12 inches.
He got a lot of passion.
Boy, there's a bunch of them in here. No, he's 12.
Tommy, I told Matt on the phone last night at the Mississippi River when he was in the top 10. I kept
the other day. That's its offspring.
I kept jumping back because every hook set I thought he was going to come through our TV and get us, but he was 1,000 miles away in Wisconsin.
That's kind of how that hook set just was.
Let's get back over to Emil Wagner. Good start for Emil today.
Hooked up again.
First cast I hit it after that last one.
We heard him talk about his game plan a little while ago, that he was going to start out cranking and then run shallow and just kind of junk fishing.
Yeah.
Looks like it's working out pretty well for him so far.
Yes. I just love putting them in your seat.
That's a little better one.
That's
pretty
actually
decent.
not a bad one for this pond. If he's 2 pounds, I'll be more than happy to bring him to weigh in.
That's the big concern a lot of anglers talked about on the phone, Tommy, was this feels like a smallmouth lake where everyone, even though they're catching 4-pounders over and over again, and you could be behind the 8-ball, Bill, you know that. You're catching 4s all day and you think you're doing good and it's fun, you're having a great day, and you need to be catching 5s all day.
Right.
Anglers here can get lulled to sleep catching 50 to 100 fish, but if they're all below 1.5 pounds, you're still losing ground to people who may be catching 8 or 9 fish for more weight.
Let's get over to another Georgia angler, Paul Marks. Paul starting at 6th place in the points leadership. Positions here.
You can see on his electronics, the screen of his electronics on the right side, about 60 feet out is where his bait dropped, and it looks like there's a little bit of brush and timber down there that he's keeping about 50 feet from the boat.
I think over the next 3 days, we're going to see a lot of this right here. Brush pile, trash stuff, type fishing. Looking for that one bite.
Oh,
Oof.
Oh, there's 2 or 3 fish there.
Yeah.
He had to let it sink all the way to the bottom on him, and they finally got it.
Always seems like those brush pile fish tend to run a little bit larger in size.
Pretty nice one for here.
Mark started hot, but he had a 118th place and 105th place, and he's finished in the top 12 the last 3 tournaments to get inside our top 10.
Well, we heard Cody Meyer before we got started with the fishing today saying, look, we're going to catch a bunch of fish today. I think he was on to something right there so far. The action has been great here on Lake Martin, a place with a considerable reputation among pro bass anglers. We'll talk about that when we come back and much more on Bassmaster Live.
Each K.A.M.S. boat is a masterpiece, created by the hands of the finest craftsmen in Middle Tennessee. Our team isn't just making boats, they're crafting legacies. K.A.M.S. stands for quality, craftsmanship, and performance without compromise. Join us and experience why every journey on a K.A.M.S. boat is about more than fishing. K.A.M.S. boats, crafted for excellence, built for adventure.
Beautiful coastline, diverse waterways. It's a nature lover's dream. It's some of the best fishing in the country. It's New York State. Discover the possibilities with 7,500 lakes and ponds, 165 species of fish, and thousands of miles of coast to explore. Catch all the adventures waiting for you. Serenity or sport, it's easy to love New York. Plan your world-class fishing getaway at iloveny.com.
Any short-sighted spy in the field can provide you with images. Only the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams provide tactical reconnaissance, high-resolution photos and videos paired with detailed intel of where game is most active. Built for simplicity, just turn on your Edge 2 cell cam and it will auto-connect to one of the 4 major cellular networks, while our easy-to-use app arms you with game plan so you can determine where and when to hunt. Don't just capture images, gather intelligence.
We're all sick of those deep voice industry buzzwords. Let's actually talk about something fun. Swim baits. The issue is it's intimidating for most anglers to gain confidence in throwing something this big. At Clutch Swim Bait Company, our social media posts, our videos, and our website is all dedicated to helping you, the angler, gain confidence in throwing these big baits. Beginner to advanced, we provide you the products and resources to help you catch more game-changing fish. If you'd like to take your swim bait fishing to the next level, check us out on social media or at clutchswimbaitco.com.
Discover the Dakota Lithium DL Plus 135 amp hour battery. With dual purpose 135 amp hour deep cycle capacity and an impressive 1000 cold cranking amps, this innovative battery is equipped with even heat technology, allowing charging even in temperatures below 32 Fahrenheit, and boasts power gauge Bluetooth connectivity for real-time monitoring. Dakota Lithium, engineered to power your passion from bow to stern.
Don't give up.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the 2024 St. Croix Bassmaster Open at Lake Martin, presented by 7. This legendary lake, Alexander City, Alabama. We have got 120 boats out there for the last event of the season for the St. Croix Bassmaster Opens. Very, very important business to take care of today. But there is your real-time leaderboard, unofficial, per Bass Track right now. And one of our top 9 in points, chasing that spot on the Bassmaster Elite Series. Emil Wagner is off to a good start there. Also in that race, definitely Dakota Ebert, Paul Marks, all in the top 10 as we see it now. The other anglers will be tracking them as well during the course of this day. We got 3 days of fishing here. We'll wrap up with Championship Saturday to decide everything. A lot of business to take care of this final week. 9 months of fishing for the Opens. That's a long time. That's a long trail. Andrew Loper. Lives in Alabama, but originally from California.
Yeah, I got to know Andrew's name from, he fished at Chico State. And so in college, he was one of the standouts from the West Coast in the college, and
Little babies.
Didn't want to drive a bunch, so he moved to Gunnersville so he'd drive a little less.
Grew up on Folsom and Clear Lake, places like that.
I know, that's how small they are.
Narrowly missed out on the Classic berth. He's hoping that's his unfinished business this week. He got second at Eufaula, Oklahoma to Easton Fothergill. After Easton catches an 8-14 on the final day, that's a good bass to catch on the final day to anchor your bag. And Andrew just barely missed out on Classic berth there, but would love to parlay that into an elite berth as well this week.
Ronnie, I think Andrew is the first pro angler we've covered on live that is actually a product of the youth division of Bassmaster Fishing.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting old here now.
Yes.
Come on. I am sure. That's not big news.
They actually had some of the anglers at the meeting yesterday sign photos, like that's a trend going around, signing photos of them as children when, a photo that you just regret taking, Tommy. And Andrew's photo was a jersey he was wearing, a fishing jersey, down to his knees. And he said, well, no, it's bad. I look like I'm 4 here, but I was 15, and I was actually in the junior series of Bass back in the day. Now I'm 30.
And he still looks young for 30.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, I'll say.
Well, that's just a testament of the opportunities we have, from youth to high school to college. We didn't have those options when I was growing up, but this is a product of what we're kicking out right here.
Yeah, they come ready to go now, don't they, Bill?
Absolutely.
Well, he's going to turn 31 on the 19th of this month, so he can give himself a nice birthday present here.
Oh, man.
With a victory.
His 30s might be better than his 20s were, better than that, Such.
1.5.
And we'll get into this more, Bill, but you've been huge in helping young anglers get into bass and get into the sport, and we'll talk about that a lot, but we know it means a lot to you as well, having kids growing up in the sport too.
Nice.
Boy, he sounds good, don't he?
I think this is going to be a fun one to watch just because we're going to see a ton of fish be caught.
That's
in so many different ways.
Lake Martin special right there. This lake has thousands, millions of these, and they are fun to catch. But today we got to try to find some bigger ones than that. But I got us a little topwater bite this morning, so that's good. We're on the board. One 4. Culling today is going to be very, very, very important. So I just want to weigh each one of them, and we're going to be using the balance beam, and it's going to be a game of ounces today. A game of ounces.
Go to E.B.A.S.S. E.B.A.S.S. started this day 7th in points, so he's very interested in getting 5 fish limit every day. That's important.
Yeah, and you might think, well, he has to be in the top 9. He's got some cushion. It's only like 11 points, Tommy, and so you don't want to finish 30th and have someone finish top 15, and you're on the wrong side of it, and you felt like you did your job.
Yeah, his work's not done yet. Let's get out there. Evan Kung, Ontario, Canada. Evan with a great start to his year.
Kung is only 5-6 points behind A-Bear, and then Matt Adams and Bo Browning are tied.
I think it's a striper.
11 points behind A-Bear.
Definitely a striper.
I think we'll see a lot of these get caught today.
Either a striper or a really big one. But I think it's a striper. Or a catfish. Striper. Time waster.
I don't know if you'll be able to stop this Canadian from making the Elite Series, Bill, but it looks like there'll be 5 Canadians on the Elite Series next year instead of 4, with Evan Kung joining the group.
He's in a youth bass club with an Elite Series angler now, Cooper Gallant.
Yeah,
at his hometown.
Pretty big striper.
We've had Danny McGeary on Bass Live a few times this year, and he was actually Cooper Gallant's high school team partner. Said I knew he looked familiar. He didn't have a beard back then. Now he has a beard, though.
Mercer keeps promoting Kung as the final thing to win a Elite Rookie of the Year because we've won the Classic now with Gussie and the AOI with Chris Johnston.
It's not a terrible prediction.
Well, we definitely get a lot of great anglers out of Canada. Well, I think when we think of Canada, we think of smallmouth fishermen, but they've got such diversity up there with largemouth and grass, and they're very well-rounded anglers when they come out of Canada for sure.
Yeah, they can go to the St. Johns River and go to town, which happened this year for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On this pond.
Third keeper for Andrew Loberg. Speaking of the St. Johns River and all of that swath in Florida that just got hit by Hurricane Milton. They're just recovering from that.
Yeah.
With best wishes. Hearts go out to all those people affected. I think it's moving out. They'll get to start their recovery sooner maybe than they thought, so that's a good thing.
I think Tampa got it hard yesterday evening.
Been, catching some fish.
I had to text my parents who live at the Harris Chain, and they said they didn't lose power, but there's a lot of stuff down in the town, and I wouldn't be shocked if it did go out. And so,
yeah. My sister and brother near Fort Myers, they said we're dry. They were worried about the storm surge flooding their house.
We've only been fishing 30 minutes. It's slow right now, but my day's been getting better as the day goes anyway. A lot of these fish are setting up on the brush and the docks that I'm fishing as the day goes. I'm still throwing at some brush. Fish don't seem to really want to be cooperating yet. I think the sun's got to get up and get in position better. Kind of mixing it up between a popper, and the reason I'm throwing a popper instead of a spook is I feel like this bait's real small right now. The bait they're feeding on her is little bitty, and I've had a hard time getting them to eat a full-size topwater bait. So I switched to popper yesterday in practice. I had some pretty good bites in a different area. Started in my main area, and so far it has not panned out, but it's early. I need to see a good one pretty quick today to get those nerves calmed down.
As you mentioned, Bill Lowe, and a lot of nervous energy also always with Matt Adams here, which is a good thing. Makes him fun to watch, but he's definitely a man on a mission.
Then you throw in the nerves of trying to qualify for the elites, and he's in 9th place, and I'm not even in the event, and I had butterflies in my stomach this morning watching him take off. I always say every morning I take off, I feel like I'm going to get sick in the floorboard of the boat. And to definitely catch a few fish, you heard Matt say he needs to catch a good one to get rid of those nerves. Definitely helps to settle you down and calm you down and make you fish a little bit slower, a little more thorough. But when you got them nerves going, it's hard to slow down.
Well, it's a week to be nervous, especially if you're one of those top 9 trying to make your way into the Bassmaster Elite Series. What an opportunity. The opportunity of a lifetime. You got 3 days to get the work done. Tommy Dunaway, though, a leader right now, about 10 ounces ahead of Andrew Loberg, whom we just watched getting a great start out there today. Emma Wagner, Bear, Paul Marks, all in our race, and all in the top 10. We got more to come from Lake Martin momentarily.
You're here for the hook set and nothing else. Because the battle between you and the bass should always be front and center. And now that the best trolling motors ever made are even better, we'll lead the charge. So you can focus on getting them to bite whenever and wherever the fight takes you. With Minn Kota, you're free to fish on any front.
Every day, we live to serve you. On the farm, our tires work as hard as you do, ensuring a bountiful harvest. We empower your discovery beneath the surface. We stand tall with you to conquer timber. We maximize efficiency in an interconnected world. We help you build the foundation of tomorrow. No matter the job, we know that your success is our success. Because at Maximum Tire, we get the job done.
Our SV spool design is made with one thing in mind: casting control. Whether it is casting lightweight baits, skipping, pitching, or casting into the wind, the Tatula SV reels virtually eliminate backlashes when set properly. Now with our groundbreaking technology and innovations, backlashes can be a thing of the past.
So we're not all professional anglers. We don't all compete on the biggest stage. But inside us all burns the same fire to be a champion. It's why you get out early, brave the toughest conditions, point the bow toward adventure, and put the hammer down. For whatever trophy or fish or memory you're chasing, count on a Mercury Pro XS outboard, engineered to deliver the speed and reliability you need to power the champion inside you.
Live imaging shows you what's below in real time with edge-to-edge clarity and no gaps in coverage, all so you can turn must-watch detail into non-stop action. Only from Humminbird.
St. Croix Bassmaster Open at Lake Martin, presented by 7, is sponsored by Toyota, by Nitro Boats, by Dakota Lithium, and by Humminbird. First of 3 days of fishing in the St. Croix Bassmaster Open. Changed our location to Lake Martin. We have obvious reasons for that. We'll remind you of why here before too long. But for now, right, welcome to the Bassmaster Studio, sponsored by Marathon. I'm Tommy Sanders here. Ronnie Moore and Mike Sukan is just outside your picture here. But I want to welcome our special guest. We are so thrilled to have Bill Lowen here with us today. Bill, one of the stars of the Elite Series. It's since the Elite Series started back in the day, and there's a couple of reasons I'm so happy to have you here. Number one, you're an elite champion from here in the state of Alabama. That's for number one. And you're also from a part of the country where you've competed in tournaments where not everybody's knocking out 5s and 6s and stuff like that, where it's a grinder. And you say you like those kind of tournaments. That's what we got here, but we got plenty of fish, though.
Absolutely. I love tournaments like that because you never know what's going to happen. You know, I grew up on the Ohio River where 6 to 8 pounds is a good bag. And then in the spring, when they're really biting, 10 to 12 pounds is good, you know. So I know exactly what it's like to fish on a body of water like this and have to grind. And one bite is going to make a huge difference. You know, a guy that's going to catch a 3 to 5 pound fish is going to set himself apart from everybody else that's catching a limit that weighs 5 or 6 pounds. So it's going to be an exciting event, I think, as far as that goes. And it's the fall, you know, there's going to be a lot of fish transitioning to go shallow. And I think the guy that, you know, puts a game plan together that mixes in a little offshore stuff, you know, forward-facing sonar type stuff, some brush pile stuff, and then gets up there and fishes shallow for that opportunity to catch a big one. I think we'll see that set the guy apart after 3 days for sure.
Absolutely looking forward. It's going to be a great tournament just on its own, but Ronnie, we've got so many other stories playing in the background here.
Yeah, 9 events, Tommy. We started all the way early February in the state of Florida, where these 200-plus anglers all had the goal of making the Bassmaster Elite Series, and we've put them through a gauntlet. 9 events this season, all over the country, 8 different states for 9 different tournaments, all 3 species in play throughout the season, and these anglers are all trying to make the top 9 in points. We've got a tie for that 9th place spot. Matt Adams, who you'll see today on camera, is tied with Bo Browning for that last spot. We'll see who makes it in, but we know a lot of guys are going to have some some worries and nerves, but also dreams come true this week, and then they'll have to step up and face guys like Bill Lowen right around the corner in February at the St. Johns River. Yeah, exactly. You're getting a little bit of a scope on who you're going to be facing next year, which is a great youth movement, but we're seeing a couple guys in their 40s as well. We're seeing a real diverse where they're from state-wise and the age and their background too.
Absolutely, and I fished the Northern Division of the Opens this year, so I kind of got a preview of what's coming. I hadn't fished an Open in 18 years, and like I said, I fished the Northerns, and what I seen coming, it was like, wow. So I fished the Opens for two reasons. One, to try to qualify for the Classic, and two, to see what was coming. And boy, what's coming is a bunch of hammers.
Yeah, every year it seems like that.
Absolutely.
More and more. Suits, you've been crunching numbers with these guys for the past 8 months. As we come down to this ninth event, what's the number that matters the most to you?
Well, the 11 points from the last 4 guys are spread by 11, and they're tied. Matt Adams and Bo Browning, they're tied. Matt Adams caught a couple 4-pounders in practice. That is going to be such a difference. Right now, our big bass is a 2-pounder. So if somebody catches anything 3 to 4 pounds and they get a limit, they're going to make some noise.
Absolutely. Well, all these fishing venues that we go to have their own history with the professional bass anglers, but most of a lake's history, I think you all agree with me, is written in the spring when it comes to pro fishing tournaments, and in the summer maybe. This is a fall tournament, so we got things to learn about Lake Martin in the fall here, and I think it's going to be very, very fascinating when we get you back out there on the water and spend a day with these anglers and see just exactly how it's going to break down. But right now, we're going to keep you in Alabama, but not at Lake Martin. We mentioned one of the reasons we love the Bills here is he's a champion, Elite Series champion from Alabama. Let's take you to Lake Pickwick 2021. And here is Bill in action. Bill, you were part of the conversation throughout the entire tournament, and it was fun to watch. We followed you all day long, and that final day was something else.
It was definitely a fun event. A lot of changes going on, floods, things like that. It was a long time coming for that win, and I feel like I haven't caught much since I had that win. I feel like I might want to give that blue trophy back.
Well, we'll take you down to the final day and take a look at some incredible stuff.
Oh, Nancy. Oh, baby, stay on, please. My whole career I've always been void of that big bite. And to get that big bite on the final day was definitely a blessing from God. I've always been that quiet, kind of laid back guy, and to catch this fish and the excitement I had. Just years of, struggles and.
Gosh! It is big, folks at home. It's giant. Holy moly! Oh my gosh!
Makes me get teary-eyed every time I see it.
You've been so close so many times. I think everybody in the whole fishing world was pulling for you on that day.
And we were worried, Tommy. Remember, he made an adjustment a little bit different in his area and had to adjust on that final day. And we were like, don't let it happen to Bill. He's had so many close calls. And when you caught that big one, Bill, we don't root for people in the studio, but man, we had a sigh of relief. We were like, that was the one. He now knows I probably got my first blue trophy.
Right. At that point, I didn't know, but it felt really good.
Out to Tucker Smith. Tucker starting at third place points today.
Little guy. But his keeper.
Largemouth and spotted bass.
I don't believe we've seen a largemouth caught yet, have we?
All spots.
A couple anglers I talked to said, yeah, we can catch them in the morning, but there's going to be a good evening bite. So I don't mind having a late boat number this week because you get to fish a little bit later into the day and another bite develops, that bite window, and they said that's when we've seen a lot of the largemouth. It allows that sun to maybe establish, the shade to really get good, and those fish really to position a lot more predictable.
I think we see that a lot in the fall. when that afternoon bite gets a little better. Like you said, it seems to position them better. The shade lines get different in the fall. I think
the shade starts earlier.
Yeah, where we're at in the country,
Double check. I'm pretty sure the size limit's
that
12.
afternoon or midday bite seems to be really well. I know right now at home you get about a 30-minute bite in the morning, and then in that middle of the day it seems like everything in the lake wants to bite.
Paul Marks confirming that 12 inches is the size limit here on on Lake Martin for both largemouth and spotted bass. So that'll be keeper number 2 for Paul.
Austin Cranford is our first angler to a limit on Bass Track. He's got 6 pounds, 7 ounces.
Ronnie, have we looked at the numbers to see what we think is going to be a good weight? That mark that we're looking for the guys and probably need to hit is at 10 pounds?
A ton of people said 32 to 37 pounds would be the winning weight. So if you have 10 pounds, you're going to be all but right there in the top 10, shooting for the top 10. And you know, you could be 10th going into the final day with 20, 21 pounds and catch a 15-pound bag and win it with 35, you know, or something like that. But that they said there's going to be a log jam of anglers from 7.5 to 9 pounds, and so you don't ever want to be on the low end of that and be 30 spots, but only be a pound or two. It seems so close to reach out and grab it, but you're so far away.
They pulled our top 9 on what they thought the winning weight would be. I think Tucker Smith was one of the highest estimates at 37. So.
Yeah, it's been kind of slow, but you know, I'm just looking for these groups of fish, and you know, they're just swimming around in open water, so they're chasing a lot of bait, and they're not ever in the same place twice. So kind of just looking around for those fish that are chasing bait, and just gonna kind of bounce around today, and hopefully we land on them. But there's a lot of fish in this lake, so I'm just gonna keep bouncing around and try to catch as many as I can, and then if this doesn't work, we're gonna have to adjust and do something else. But usually when that sun starts coming out, they start moving around more, so we'll see what happens.
Tucker Smith of Birmingham, a former high school national champion, high school All-American.
50 foot.
Logan Martin's his home lake. He got second place there earlier this year. Missed out on the Classic by, you know, it's a win and in for the Classic for the Opens if you fish the full division. Missed out on that. But I would say a second home lake, especially during his time at Auburn, would be Lake Martin. He grew up on the Coosa, not far from Birmingham. Like we said, he now lives in Birmingham, but college at Auburn, that's the closest big city, I'd say, to the Lake Martin region.
Yeah, I spoke to him. He was pretty nervous about the move. He was looking forward to Hartwell because he knows that, you know, half a pound, 3/4 of a pound could be 40 places. He's pretty fortunate and happy that we have 100 less competitors than usual, 220 down to about 121 right now this week. 100 less guys who could finish ahead of them and push them down the points.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Actually a decent. Terrible one.
Looked like they came up schooling for Dakota.
Oh, they're schooling in front of the boat.
Yeah, Tommy, if I'm trying to make the top 9 in points, I was shooting for a 10-boat tournament. That would be great.
Yeah,
secure your points and be good to go. But
way easier, if only.
A little bit of sweating for these anglers for sure.
Austin Cranford, we've watched him on Bassmaster Live before. He's the man on top of our leaderboard right now. Dunaway and Andrew Loberg. Wagner, Adam Rasmussen, big player in the Bassmaster Classic earlier this year. We got a lot of stories to cover out there today. We continue with our Bassmaster Live coverage from Lake Martin.
Each K.A.M.S. boat is a masterpiece, created by the hands of the finest craftsmen in Middle Tennessee. Our team isn't just making boats, they're crafting legacies. K.A.M.S. stands for quality, craftsmanship, and performance without compromise. Join us and experience why every journey on a K.A.M.S. boat is about more than fishing. K.A.M.S. boats, crafted for excellence, built for adventure.
Beautiful coastline, diverse waterways. It's a nature lover's dream. It's some of the best fishing in the country. It's New York State. Discover the possibilities in 7,500 lakes and ponds, 165 species of fish, and thousands of miles of coast to explore. Catch all the adventures waiting for you. Serenity or sport, it's easy to love New York. Plan your world-class fishing getaway at iloveny.com.
More than a simple spy, the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams are your covert analysts in the field. SD card-free, built-in memory. Onboard Moultrie AI for false trigger reduction. Cloud-based AI for detailed tagging and filtering. You don't just get high-resolution photos and videos. You get access to our easy-to-use app, arming you with game plan, weather forecasts, and mapping, so you know when and where to hunt. Don't just capture images. Gather intelligence.
Don't give up.
Discover the Dakota Lithium DL Plus 135 amp-hour battery. With dual-purpose 135 amp-hour deep cycle capacity and an impressive 1,000 cold cranking amps, this innovative battery is equipped with even heat technology, allowing charging even in temperatures below 32 Fahrenheit, and boasts power gauge Bluetooth connectivity for real-time monitoring. Dakota Lithium, engineered to power your passion from bow to stern.
I'll be your beast of burden, an ally in enemy territory. Overgrown, nasty, unkind. Throw me in and watch me swim. Mother Nature may be tough. I'm tougher. I'll take you where chaos is the cost of entry, where the fish are worth the fight. If you ask me, the bigger the question marks, the better the quest.
The St. Croix Bassmaster Open at Lake Martin, presented by 7. Very, very important tournament, the end of the line for this long year of competition. Among the Open's 9 spots in the Bassmaster Elite Series at stake here. This final event here, and that comprises that list you're looking at right now, our Tackle Warehouse Bassmaster EQ points. And that's where we started today. Easton Fothergill on top, commanding lead there, as a matter of fact, through Cody Meyer, Tucker Smith, Emil Wagner, Andrew Loberg, Paul Marks, Dakota Ebert, Evan Kung, Matt Adams, and Bo Browning tied for that 9th spot. Very, very, very tight competition for the last available spot. We'll see how it plays out today, tomorrow, and the next day.
One big thing, Tommy, you want the relief, the sigh of relief to make the top 9, qualify for the Elite Series your whole season. You come down from that high and do it. But the fight for the top spot means $45,000 to the winner of the points race. That's basically your Elite Series entries for next year. And you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about doing that. And that's what the AOI prize for the Opens is.
Tremendous season for Easton Fothergill. 2 victories out here.
2 little babies in the box right now. I guess the story for me all week has been I've yet to figure out the morning bite.
Storybook year for sure.
I do have some deep fish that tend to bite in the morning, but for me all week long, the bigger bites have come shallow, so you know, I got the deep fish in my back pocket if I do need them, but I'm gonna grind it out as long as I can shallow, just because my average bite up here has been 2 pounds, and you know, I really have to grind and catch a bunch of fish out deep to catch a 2-pounder. So, but we're gonna do this for a little while longer, and then I might run deep and grab a limit for hopefully 7 pounds or so, and then we'll come back up here. And up here, you know, I really only need 5 bites on my jig, and I'll have a good bag. You know, I've been averaging about 11 pounds a day, so. And I've seen some big largemouth roaming up in the bank once the sun gets high, so, you know, I'm around the right fish. We just gotta put our baits in front of as many of them as possible, and hopefully the right ones grab on. But as small as the fish are, it's actually a pretty fun lake, so I'm enjoying myself. Hopefully we'll run across 5 nice ones by the time the day's over.
Bill, you said it, he has had a heck of a year even before the year started, but as far as this year goes, he started out with a 14th place at the Bassmaster Classic. How about that for a bracket qualifier?
Yeah, and you want to talk about last year, just making it to the bracket, team of the year, going through brain surgery before that, starting the season at Okeechobee, Tommy, and catching a 9-pounder on the final day. You're already in the top 10, and then it just goes to show whether it's shallow fishing or smallmouth fishing, whatever. And we go to Oklahoma, where he gets his first big breakthrough, which is a win.
Who does that on Lake Eufaula? A big 8-pounder out there. Unbelievable.
We talk about momentum all the time, and when you're riding that train, a lot of good things happen. You know, fishing's all about confidence, and when you're confident in what you're doing, it just seems like every move you make is the right move. But when you don't have that going on, every move you make is the wrong move, and he's definitely on the right side of that. And it showed all year long.
He had everything going for him, Tommy. He was the points leader. He already had the Classic shoot in for next year with the win, but he went to his home lake at Leech Lake. It was shortened to 2 days. He dropped 26 pounds on day 1, followed up with another huge day on day 2, and was able to win 2 opens in a season. There's his season. Only blemish Santee Cooper that threw a lot of people for a loop early in the year. And there is a difference, Bill Lowen, between 115th and an 83rd. And so he was, of the guys who struggled, he struggled a little bit less than them, which is why he's got about a 30-point lead.
Just incredible. That win at Leech Lake may have been the biggest challenge of all of them. Winning on your home lake is never an easy thing to do.
That's always the toughest thing to do.
Let's get out to Evan Kung. No striper this time.
No,
Good
sir.
one.
I think a lot of our guys are going to be spending more time in the live well culling than they are fishing today. Another little guy.
He fished a lot of team events with his dad growing up. He says his dad taught him to fish shallow, but he taught his dad how to fish deep. And that's what he likes to do.
It's always hard to teach a shallow guy how to fish deep or persuade him to go do that.
Yeah.
Another 1-pounder, you think?
Yeah.
It is a weird feeling when it can be discouraging. Another small one. These anglers will say that a lot today. But there is hope, Bill. Like, if it's a struggle for me, it's a struggle for others, and there's hope that one big bite for me can make all the difference in the world.
Your Wagner hooked up again.
Little guy. Really just want to throw him back and get back out there. But
Like we said earlier, I think this is going to be an event where you cannot be scared to make a change or pull the plug on what you're doing and try to do something different to get that bigger bite. I sit here and say that, and it's so hard to do that on the water, especially when you're catching fish after fish after fish. But if they're all the same size and you're not gaining any ounces, or you got to make an adjustment. And I think the guy that does that is going to be the guy that maybe holds the trophy up at the end of 3 days.
A long time reputation for Lake Martin was a place where you could catch them in a foot of water or 80 feet of water, and you can pattern them here, they say, but the pattern changes every day. You got to refine them. You got to refigure out that pattern. So we'll see how it works in this day and age now that they've got the greenback herring in the lake.
Yeah, that definitely makes the dynamic of a lake fish differently. I don't care where you're at in the country. If a lake has blueback herring in it.
I'm sorry, blueback herring, greenbacks. Yeah.
I always say they act like stripers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If nothing else, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Ain't nearly as big as that last one that come up on it, but that's number 5. He's a nicer one. Bigger than some of them ones I got in there. Hey, I'm gonna circle back around. I just had a big one come up right behind the right back there on my bait.
A lot of heightened attention to the opens. Dakota's talking to
down this point.
Camera boat, documenting his whole season, him and Tristan McCormick.
A 1.5, boy.
We knew Dakota would be a problem this year as well, Tommy. We just didn't know if he'd be in the opens until 2 weeks before the first one. He said, you know what, it's late. Can I get in? I want to do them all. And boy, we knew that at the end of the year, he'd be in the top 10 most likely, and he is.
A good spot today, limit in the boat with in the first hour and a half of fishing. There's our points leader. Easton Fothergill still looking for him to get himself on the board here. That is coming. You can just about bet on that based on his performance throughout the year. We have got a lot of anglers to run through today, a lot of fish as well. Stay with
us. Every day, we live to serve you. On the farm, our tires work as hard as you do, ensuring a bountiful harvest. We empower your discovery beneath the surface. We stand tall with you to conquer timber. We maximize efficiency in an interconnected world. We help you build the foundation of tomorrow. No matter the job, we know that your success is our success. Because at Maximum Tire, we get the job done.
Our SV spool design is made with one thing in mind: casting control. Whether it is casting lightweight baits, skipping, pitching, or casting into the wind, the Tatula SV reels virtually eliminate backlashes when set properly. Now with our groundbreaking technology and innovations, backlashes can be a thing of the past.
So we're not all professional anglers. We don't all compete on the biggest stage. But inside us all burns the same fire to be a champion. It's why you get out early, brave the toughest conditions, point the bow toward adventure, and put the hammer down. For whatever trophy or fish or memory you're chasing, count on a Mercury Pro XS outboard, engineered to deliver the speed and reliability you need to power the champion inside you.
Out here, it takes a certain type. The type who's always the first one out. The type who knows deep down everyone else is just fishing for second. Enter the Apex Series. See more fish. Seize more victories. Settle for nothing less. With unrivaled clarity, it's the top fish finder for the most demanding type of angler. Only from Humminbird.
Each K.A.S.S boat is a masterpiece, created by the hands of the finest craftsmen in Middle Tennessee. Our team isn't just making boats, they're crafting legacies. K.A.S.S stands for quality, craftsmanship, and performance without compromise. Join us and experience why every journey on a K.A.S.S boat is about more than fishing. K.A.S.S boats, crafted for excellence, built for adventure.
Beautiful coastline, diverse waterways. It's a nature lover's dream. It's some of the best fishing in the country. It's New York State. Discover the possibilities in 7,500 lakes and ponds, 165 species of fish, and thousands of miles of coast to explore. Catch all the adventures waiting for you. Serenity or sport, it's easy to love New York. Plan your world-class fishing getaway at iloveny.com.
Back with our Bassmaster Live coverage of the St. Croix Bassmaster Open at Lake Martin, presented by 7. Let's take a look at our standings. Well, that's actually our leaderboard as it stands right now. Per Bass Track and Austin Cranford holding down his spot at the top. But right behind him, we saw it just moments ago, Dakota Ebert filling out his limit early in the day. That is a great sign. Andrew Loberg, we're in the boat with him all day long. Mike McClellan, former Elite Series angler, moving up into our top 10. We see there. Ditto for Daryl Gleason, Adam Rasmussen, Alan Armour, been in this game a good while. Right now, what would it mean to these guys to reach the goal? And the goal for the top 9 points getters is to make it to the Bassmaster Elite Series. Well, that to them means everything, as underlined on our Tackle Warehouse Dock Talk.
So the Elite Series would mean everything to me. I grew up in the Elite Series. I ran the roads with my dad for my whole life. I feel like at the Elite Series stage, sitting in the front rows, watching him, cheering him on. I feel like if I can make the Elites, my Classic will come one of these days. But first things first, I got to make the Elites.
To be on the Elites probably mean everything. It's kind of my goal. I don't even know how to describe the feeling I'd get if I qualified.
Ever since I was young, I've always wanted to be a professional fisherman. I come from a long line of fishermen. My dad, my uncles, my grandfather. I've slowly progressed myself to move out east, and now I'm here to try to pursue that passion I have.
Yeah, bass means everything to me. You know, from the high school to the college to the opens, I've taken those steps. I really just love bass fishing. I love being out here. It's the only thing that I love to do, and the only thing that I can continue to do and not get bored of.
My goal is obviously just to make the Elite Series and hopefully win a tournament and make the Classic, but the ultimate goal is always just make the Elites and to avoid a bomb of a finish.
You can't let bad days turn into bad tournaments, and you can't let a bad tournament turn into a bad year. So I'm just taking it day by day, trying to do the best I can with the opportunities that I have, and hopefully at the end of the year, we're right where we need to be to qualify for the Elite Series.
The moment I realized I wanted to be a professional bass angler is watching Bob Cobb when I was 5 years old. I can remember Larry Nixon catching big bass. I remember coming down and telling my parents, hey, I want to be a professional bass angler. They go, you don't want to be Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson? Nope, want to be a professional bass angler.
There's 2 videos that I've watched, I don't even know how many times. One's the Hack Attack Godzilla video.
Godzilla ain't got nothing on me right now.
And the other one's the Takahiro Omori from the 04 Classic.
I got gaw. I got gaw.
I would like to know how many times I've watched both those videos, just being like, I want to be that someday.
Tackle Warehouse Dock Talk. It does mean a lot to these guys, and the Elite Series is the goal, and it's going to be settled this week. That's what's making this important tournament even more important.
What's funny is Cody Meyer didn't want to be Magic Johnson, didn't want to be Michael Jordan. There will be kids wanting to be Cody Meyer. Same thing for Easton Fothergill. Right. He wanted to be those guys, and there's going to be a young generation looking up to these guys as we speak.
Yeah, our first look at Cody Meyer today, and what a great moment to check in with him.
Yeah, watching the dock talk brings back a lot of memories for me.
Not what we're
In
after,
05
but
when
we'll
I
take it right
fished,
now.
the
Number 3.
Opens and the Everstart, trying to qualify for one of the tours, and knew how important it was, and was very fortunate that year to qualify for both tours. But my dream was always to go across that Bassmaster Classic stage, and I think that's been 18 years ago now. So
I mean, this is definitely
been a fun ride.
What you do to try to catch a big one on a place like this. I caught 1 2-pounder. You know, I just lost a decent one and then got 2 little keepers, but we're just getting started. I've seen a couple.
Cody Meyer, let's go over to Evan Kung.
A little one.
Baby.
Heard that a lot today. A little one. How about Austin Cranford with the biggest one, a 2-pounder. He's up to 7 pounds 15 ounces. Increased his lead to pound 3/4. And how about Adam Rasmussen? He's got our Phoenix Boats Big Bass right now with a 2-pound 1 ouncer.
I'll say this: there's still another way to make the Elite Series, Tommy. And if you're a winner, we were talking about Mike McClelland, a former Elite Series pro. He's in the top 10 of our tournament. If you win this event and make the Classic, you can make the Elite Series by winning the Classic. And Adam Rasmussen almost did that. If you're a non-Elite Series angler in the Classic and win it, you make the Elite Series. It just hasn't happened. I don't think ever.
No.
And so that would be your entry.
Well, I didn't think about that. There is a workaround for that. Yeah.
No, so I'm just.
That would be exciting to see happen.
Yeah.
It'd have to be the next year, though, since we do the Classic after a couple events.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. At some point
Should
today,
win the
or I'll
Classic,
find
take
them.
the year off.
But
Right.
need just one pretty big one. It would be really nice. But pretty tough lake, a lot of really tiny ones.
I would love to see us have more fall events.
100%.
Yeah.
The last 3 events in the Opens every year are always so compelling. It is, you just never know. There's so many techniques that come into play. A lot of our top 9 have been labeled as live scope enthusiasts or forward-facing sonar dominant anglers, and they are very good with that. But to see Emil Wagner throw a frog at Leech Lake and save his season, to see Paul Marks throw a buzzbait around, like a lot of these guys do a bunch of things. It's just when you're trying to win tournaments, you have to go into a different mode sometimes, and that is what we've seen them do. But some of these young guys, I mean, they've had to do it all through the college series, through the BFL ranks, whatever.
I think the fall time of the year opens that up to be able to showcase anglers' abilities. What was it, the COVID year that we had 2 events in the fall?
Yeah, we had 3 events,
3 or
maybe? 4. We had Gunnersville, Santee, Fort.
Spam call.
And yeah, obviously the weights are down, but it really doesn't matter. You know, if we're catching 6 pounds or we're catching 26 pounds, you still got to catch them. Somebody's going to win, and like I said, regardless if the weights are high or low. And I think the fans of the sport don't get to see a lot of fall time fishing. And a lot of time, let's face it, to me that's the toughest time of the year to be very consistent. And when we can show the fans of the sport how to be consistent that time of the year, I think they truly get engaged in that and really like it.
Even our elites had issues getting limits. We were shy a lot of limits in those fall events.
Absolutely.
That's always in the fall, you could catch a limit for 10 pounds or you could catch 3 for 18.
Yeah.
You're going to see somebody do that this week. They might not catch a limit and they'll have 4 for 9, 10, and then the next day they catch a limit that's smaller than that. It just depends on that big bite.
Once everybody likes to watch buzzbait fishing online. We've been delivering the buzzbait fishing the last 2 tournaments, I'm telling you.
100%.
Yeah.
Elite Series pros, you'll be able to get in on some fall fishing next year if you want to. With the way our opens are adjusting and changing a little bit, they'll have 2 different 4 event divisions. So those 8 events, if you want to fish the whole season, you could fish those 8 events. If you make it in the top 50 in points, you'll qualify for the EQ portion, which is now going to be a 3 event, September, October, November kind of shootout. And you'll have 100 Opens anglers, the top 50 from each division. You'll have Elite Series pros that are trying to re-qualify for the elites if their season ends poorly. Or Elite Series anglers trying to make the Classic can also jump in those events. So you're going to have like a steroid-filled event with the best Opens guys, the Elite Series guys that are not wanting to get in a deer stand yet, and kind of have a 3-event shootout there.
I think what's so interesting about what we're watching right now is how we kind of lumped forward-facing sonar into that whole deep water offshore kind of deal, and every year it seems like the guys are figuring out how to catch them on forward-facing sonar shallower and shallower. As we see here, you know, he's in 8 foot of water, scanning brush and isolated stumps and things like that. Where I think when this technology hit, we didn't think that that would ever be an option, and it just keeps getting better and better and giving us the opportunity to catch fish that we maybe might not have caught.
Yeah, they started showing us that shallow stuff the first event of the year, Okeechobee even.
It always seems if you're within 150 feet of the bank, you might as well be on the bank, but now we realize that you don't have to be fully offshore. There's a lot of fish that'll just sit in the middle. They're not out deep, they're not on the bank, they're right where your boat should be positioned, so more catchable fish.
Well, we're getting close to completing the first couple of hours of fishing here on Lake Martin. Got a good race going on, and it will be carrying on through the next 3 days, so plan on being with us tomorrow also to start the day here on FS2. We'll get going with day 2, but we got day 1 to knock out first.
Any short-sighted spy in the field can provide you with images. Only the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams provide tactical reconnaissance. High-resolution photos and videos paired with detailed intel of where game is most active. Built for simplicity, just turn on your Edge 2 cell cam and it will auto-connect to one of the 4 major cellular networks, while our easy-to-use app arms you with game plan so you can determine where and when to hunt. Don't just capture images, gather intelligence.
We're all sick of those deep voice industry buzzwords. Let's actually talk about something fun. Swim baits. The issue is it's intimidating for most anglers to gain confidence in throwing something this big. At Clutch Swim Bait Company, our social media posts, our videos, and our website is all dedicated to helping you, the angler, gain confidence in throwing these big baits. Beginner to advanced, we provide you the products and resources to help you catch more game-changing fish. If you'd like to take your swim bait fishing to the next level, check us out on social media or at clutchswimbaitco.com.
Don't give up.
Discover the Dakota Lithium DL Plus 135 amp-hour battery. With dual-purpose 135 amp-hour deep cycle capacity and an impressive 1,000 cold cranking amps, this innovative battery is equipped with even heat technology, allowing charging even in temperatures below 32 Fahrenheit, and boasts power gauge Bluetooth connectivity for real-time monitoring. Dakota Lithium, engineered to power your passion from bow to stern.
You're here for the hook set and nothing else. Because the battle between you and the bass should always be front and center. And now that the best trolling motors ever made are even better, we'll lead the charge, so you can focus on getting them to bite whenever and wherever the fight takes you. With Minn Kota, you're free to fish on any front.
Every day, we live to serve you. On the farm, our tires work as hard as you do, ensuring a bountiful harvest. We empower your discovery beneath the surface. We stand tall with you to conquer timber. We maximize efficiency in an interconnected world. We help you build the foundation of tomorrow. No matter the job, we know that your success is our success. Because at Maximum Tire, we get the job done.
Still a little bit left in the first quarter of the St. Croix Bassmaster Open. Day number 1 on Lake Martin, presented by 7. Got 120 boats out there. There is our unofficial standings for Bass Track. Right now, Austin Cranford been the man on top for quite a while, but Alan Armour, another Georgian, in the mix here. Moving on up into second place, Brian Finch, Dakota Ebert, Andrew Loberg. Topping out our top 5, Joey Nania, very familiar competitor through the years on these opens. Always.
He's another junior angler. He started out as a not even a teen. I can't even say teen. He was like 12, so he was before he was a teen.
We're going back into grade school before long, I'm sure. Andrew Loberg. Youth standout back in the day in California. Had a great year this year.
Snagged. That's why. Got him right in the old head. That's a Lake Martin special right there.
Looked like he was throwing a wiggle
Skinny
wart.
little spider bass.
With his limit out there today. Here's Evan Kung again. Still looking for his limit.
Got a little bit of a gut to it.
Another little guy. I don't remember, Ronnie, from being there in the past. Is that lower end of the lake have a lot of deep water? You know, that 50, 60 foot?
Yeah, it seemed, I remember the 2018 Elite Tommy that we did live here. It was one up the river, but it was like those guys would be down lake catching numbers, spotted bass, more deeper drops in that winter. It was, the water was lower, obviously, because of the drawdown. It's supposed to be lower right now. It's only 6 inches low. But yeah, that bottom end, I mean, honestly, the way Lake Martin looks on the map, it looks like a brush pile already. It looks like a Christmas tree, the way it's set up, and that lower end definitely has more of this style of fishing.
Don't give up on me yet.
Was it 12 inches here?
Mm-hmm.
2?
Sure. They're not big by any means, but I might run into some big ones.
It's 3 keepers now for Tucker Smith. Keeps him in the top 20 for now.
Don't jump on it.
Back to Matt Adams.
I always think the young guys are high-strung, but I think Matt Adams is the oldest of our elite qualifier hopefuls right now, and he's the most high-strung of the whole group.
I'd have to agree with you on that. It was
he and Cody Meyer both 41.
Right.
If that's, I don't know if he's big. He felt big, but I don't know. Spots feel big, so. It's a good one. Oh, it's a good one. Stay down. Stay down. Stay down. Come here, I need you. You will help. You're a freaking good one. Good one, good one, good one. Come here. Come here, come here. Oh, he's not as good as I thought, but he'll definitely help. It's a solid fish. For this place, anyway. Might be a 2-pounder. Maybe.
2-pounders are like gold right now.
I knew they're in there. I just wouldn't. They're not acting right. Let's see what he was.
I love it when you get excited about a 2-pounder.
Yeah, 2-pounder.
Dead on the nose.
Matt's been with that brush
that's
program.
More like the ones I need right there.
10 to 15 foot depth range. He'll go shallower as the day gets on.
Is when that fish right there gets your friggin' heart going. That's terrible.
That's not terrible. That's
terrible.
awesome.
But it gets your heart going on this place.
That's the real world.
That's exactly the real world, you know.
Place.
Like, you know, we get so accustomed to catching 20 pounds a day. We go to the best fisheries in the country at the best time of the year, and to see grinders like this, I mean, that's what I grew up doing. And you know, when people ask me what my favorite place to fish is, I always say the Ohio River because of this, because it's a grind. You know, when we go everywhere in the country, you know you're going to catch them. It's just, are they going to be big enough? When you go to the Ohio River, it's a fact matter of, are you going to catch one or not? You know, so I just love the grinders.
A lot of anglers know how to cast, know how to throw a spinnerbait, know how to work top water, know how to do these different things, but mentally staying tough. When you go and fish those tough places your whole life, every other day seems like a vacation, but for other anglers, they get so bummed and down on themselves on those tough events. I always say the Lake Norman guys, we have 6 or 7 elite guys from Lake Norman, and that's a 10 to 12 pound lake most of the time that they have to survive through.
I remember when I started on the elites, I'd, you know, listen to the doc talk and listen to the guys talk about, oh, it's so tough, I'm only getting 10 bites a day, and I'm like, I'm on cloud 9. You know, I had 15 bites today, and I thought it was just interesting to hear the guys, you know, the Texas guys and guys that were just so accustomed to catching so many big fish and so many numbers that they'd almost lose their confidence in the event before it even started. To me, it was just another day.
My home league doesn't even have 10 bass in it. That's what you're telling them.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they weren't telling you the truth.
No, they were telling you the truth, but you know, it was just like their confidence was gone before we even started the event.
Big.
The trick my roommate showed me is I'm putting these little tags on the dorsal fin here. These fish are so small, if you put those big cull clips in their mouth, it'll weigh them down. So I think that's going to make a difference this week. If one of those little tiny ones dies on you, that'll really hurt you, and ounces count like this. So. That way they can still swim freely.
Two more to a limit for Easton Fothergill, a man who has been so dominant this year in these opens. Classic bracket winner last year, 2023.
Yeah, we kind of said he had a great 2024, Tommy, but every time we have him on live, we have to mention his great run started in January of 2023 when him and his partner Nick Dumke at Montevallo in college started their Team of the Year run. So they basically won Angler of the Year for the entire college series with their 2023 performance. They roll it into a 5th place finish at the national championship. They make the bracket, and a month before the bracket, he has a brain abscess, has to have surgery, gets cleared 3 days before the bracket to fish it, wins the bracket, makes the Classic, wins 2 Opens this year, and he's going to win the points race most likely.
I am starting to see fish start set up on the brush a little bit better than what they were this morning. We just caught a 2-pounder, which for this lake's a good fish. You know, that you need 5 of them each day to have a decent bag on this place. There are some others in that brush that didn't want to cooperate, but they are starting to react the way I expected them to, and they're starting to set up like I saw in practice. So it's a long day. I've got a 3:40 weigh-in, so we're going to stay after it, and I'm going to continue to run the shade line. I think that if I'm going to get a big bite, a truly big bite, a 3.5, 4, 5 pound bite, I think it's going to come on top. And I think I've got enough brush and docks I can run that I can go catch them after the sun comes up. So we're going to stay on this pattern for a little bit, probably another half hour, and then we're going to start. We're going to lock a jig and a shaky head in our hand and see what happens from there. Well, I guess brush pile's got them too. They're on this one too. Just weird that they ate the Mickey rig. They have not eaten that minnow. Not a good one. It's not.
Matt with 2 fish, looking to get his limit as fast as he possibly can, but he is going to go with that shade plan for the time being in hopes of getting a big one. A good one certainly would make a big difference out here. Something on the order of 2.5 pounds. That'd be a big one.
Well, in practice, he reported he caught a 4 1/4 and a 5 1/4 pounder. Of course, he said that was the only fish he caught all day, the 5.
I really like his brush pile game plan.
Golly.
Looks like a good one.
Paul looking for fish number 4.
I didn't know what I'd hooked.
There's a good one.
I hooked a giant largemouth. I saw one right here the other day. It's a pretty good one.
Paul Marks has done so many different levels, from fishing Lake Lanier locally to he just won the BFL All-American on Cherokee Lake earlier this year. So he is. It just goes to show you that it's not just, hey, I fished this one series or I fished the college series. It's, if you're a great college angler, you're going to be fishing the Opens at the same time like Tucker Smith or Logan Parks. If you're a local angler, you're going to try one of those national or regional trails. And to see it all come together for Paul this year, he has been fishing very well.
Well, we have so many options available now to keep you on the water, and all the anglers that are coming, they just get better and better every year.
I didn't catch the weight for that one. Looked to be 2 pounds to me.
Yeah, it looked like it as well.
Maybe a few ounces more, which really make a difference for Paul. That was, at any rate, keeper number 4 from him. Plenty more to come here from legendary Lake Martin here on the Tallapoosa River in Alabama. We'll be right back.
Our SV spool design is made with one thing in mind: casting control. Whether it is casting lightweight baits, skipping, pitching, or casting into the wind, the Tatula SV reels virtually eliminate backlashes when set properly. Now, with our groundbreaking technology and innovations, backlashes can be a thing of the past.
So we're not all professional anglers. We don't all compete on the biggest stage. But inside us all burns the same fire to be a champion. It's why you get out early, brave the toughest conditions, point the bow toward adventure, and put the hammer down. For whatever trophy or fish or memory you're chasing, count on a Mercury Pro XS outboard, engineered to deliver the speed and reliability you need to power the champion inside you.
Live imaging shows you what's below in real time with edge-to-edge clarity and no gaps in coverage, all so you can turn must-watch detail into non-stop action. Only from Humminbird.
Each K.A.M.S. boat is a masterpiece, created by the hands of the finest craftsmen in Middle Tennessee. Our team isn't just making boats, they're crafting legacies. K.A.M.S. stands for quality, craftsmanship, and performance without compromise. Join us and experience why every journey on a K.A.M.S. boat is about more than fishing. K.A.M.S. boats, crafted for excellence, built for adventure.
Beautiful coastline, diverse waterways. It's a nature lover's dream. It's some of the best fishing in the country. It's New York State. Discover the possibilities in 7,500 lakes and ponds, 165 species of fish, and thousands of miles of coast to explore. Catch all the adventures waiting for you. Serenity or sport, it's easy to love New York. Plan your world-class fishing getaway at iloveny.com.
More than a simple spy, the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams are your covert analysts in the field. SD card free, built-in memory. Onboard Moultrie AI for false trigger reduction. Cloud-based AI for detailed tagging and filtering. You don't just get high-resolution photos and videos. You get access to our easy-to-use app, arming you with game plan, weather forecasts, and mapping, so you know when and where to hunt. Don't just capture images. Gather intelligence.
Nine events of the St. Croix Bassmaster Open schedule this year. This one at Lake Martin is number 9. The end of the road, a long, long road for these anglers, sometimes as many as 200 boats or more in a tournament. We got 120 left in this one here at the season's end. Oklahoma's Austin Cranford, the man on top. Georgia's Alan Armour, though, right behind him, just by about 3 ounces. Joey Nadia of Alabama rounds out our top 3 as it stands right now. Early on, into the second quarter, if you will, of this 4-quarter game, which will take these anglers the first flight. Check in about 2:30 today. They're at the Wind Creek State Park. Out to Alabama's Matt Adams. Matt from Oxford, Alabama.
No, I know better than that. I'm gonna make that long cast, and that's when one's gonna bite, and on this stupid pop art, I'm gonna have a mess. I know better than that. I knew better than that.
Tommy, I was talking to Matt on the phone last night. I said, you have had the worst, best season ever because it has been such a roller coaster day to day for him. But on those tournaments where he hasn't done well, he's pulled it out on day 2 and gained a lot of points. And then he's made plenty of top 10s. He's almost looking for like a record number of top 10s in an open season. But Tommy, it has been one roller coaster for him.
been pro bass fishing since 2006. Goes back a while, but took some time off in 2012 to build up his company. Decided, man, I got to get back into it. I want to go all the way to the top. I want to go to the Elite Series. And, man, he has been grinding on that, focused hard on it this year.
Yeah, he said he actually sold his boat and a lot of his gear back in the day when he stepped away and did more business ventures and family ventures. He said he's done every level of baseball except for play on national TV. And he said, I never get nervous, and I am very nervous going into the last event of the season.
Got 4. Started great down at Okeechobee. Good to see here at Santee Cooper, finishing 8th place.
Make 3 more to go with it. We'll have a good bag today. Big.
It seems like every other event, Tommy, early in the year, he'd have a top 10 at Okeechobee, a terrible one at Washita, good one at Santee, a bad one at Logan Martin, makes another top 10 here at Eufaula.
Yeah, 7th place at Eufaula.
Okay.
Maybe not so great at Leech Lake, but came back hard at the Mississippi River.
Man, and that Leech Lake could have been much worse, Tommy. He was much farther down on day 1, had a huge comeback on day 2 to be able to just survive. And then, yeah, we saw him again in the top 10. I said, blink and you see Matt Adams the next time you open your eyes. He's going to be on camera this year.
Let's go.
You can see that, like, every time he feels like he's got it dialed in, it is not dialed in the next one. But, man, you can't put a price on a 5th and 8th, a 7th and a 7th, Bill Lowen.
That's been like my whole career right there. I'm either doing good or I'm at the bottom.
Well, at least you get to do good.
Right.
See, that's
sometimes, yeah.
For sure.
Well, Bill, you're selling yourself short. Your nickname is Dollar Bill Lowen because of how good you were at consistently making checks, and that is something that is.
Well, I need to get back on that train. That's for sure.
Well, you'll be fishing your 200th Bassmaster event here
that
next
many
year,
already, huh?
Unbelievable.
Wow. Seems like it was just yesterday that it started.
I think I was looking back at some old Sam Rayburn in 06 when you were a rookie, first year of the Elite Series, and it was, I mean, you were baby-faced and
top 5, second ever Elite, man. You validated that making it to the Elite.
I lost a fish in that tournament. That's probably the biggest fish I'd ever had hooked. I'm thinking somewhere at least over 12 pounds. And that was back before I swam a jig on braid. And she broke me off right at the boat. And I'll never forget that fish. And I had Bob Seeley with me in the boat, you know, the big bass splash guy. And
Hall of Famer.
It swam by the boat. And he looked right at me and he told me, "You just lost a tournament." I'll never forget that.
Oh, my goodness.
You know?
We miss Bob Seeley. We
Absolutely.
lost him this year. Yeah. What a guy.
What's going on?
He knows big bass, that's
He
for
does.
sure.
Yeah.
And when Bob Seeley tells you that, you know, you just goofed up.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, that was a fun tournament. And now I swim my jig on braid all the time.
Who won that one? Is that Hackney?
Hackney.
Hackney won that one, yes. Haven't got to ask many anglers this, but earlier this year at Fork, almost broke the all-time weight record. You were a part of that event in 2008 at Falcon where the record was set. Was your mind blown just as much this year seeing those bags at Fork keep showing up as it was when you guys got to the weigh-in at Falcon and you're just like, this is unbelievable. I've got 24 pounds and it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I think I'm shocked every time that happens. You know, I think a lot of the people are as well. I could only imagine what Paul Elias may have caught if we'd had forward-facing sonar back then.
Yeah,
you know,
on an untouched gym that was just, you know, really coming up and gaining popularity.
Well, and then you take a lake like Lake Fork that's full of big fish because of the slot limit, and then we put forward-facing sonar on top of that and give you the ability to target nothing but better than average size fish. The weights are definitely going to go up. I think we've seen that over the last 3 years that the weights have gone up everywhere we go in the country.
It's hard to be efficient in that timber and deep, big tree. We're not just talking about deep sticks, deep, big trees that Falcon has, that Fork has, and some of those places. It's just
if we'd have had forward-facing sonar in that event, I think we'd have seen a weight that would never have got broken.
Houston Fothergill, our points leader. You got to say it's a pretty good bet to make it to the elites next year, to put it mildly. How much can he win if he wins the points race this year, Ronnie?
$45,000.
$45,000.
Last year they had no payout for the overall points winner in past years, but last year it went up to $10,000. JT Tompkins beat John Garrett out for that, and then this year it went up with the more eyeballs and focus on it. Like we said, there are some opens anglers like Dakota Ebear and some others have camera crews following them around to document this gauntlet journey to try to make it to the top level.
Lake Martin's been around for 100 years. Hey there. Those guys are recent arrivals here.
100 years old.
100 years old. This lake was originally, when it was opened, it was the biggest man-made lake in America. Wow. That was 1926. So 100 years of Lake Martin will be celebrated here in a couple of years.
Don't give up.
Discover the Dakota Lithium DL Plus 135 amp-hour battery. With dual-purpose 135 amp-hour deep cycle capacity and an impressive 1,000 cold cranking amps, this innovative battery is equipped with even heat technology, allowing charging even in temperatures below 32 Fahrenheit, and boasts power gauge Bluetooth connectivity for real-time monitoring. Dakota Lithium, engineered to power your passion from bow to stern.
I'll be your beast of burden, an ally in enemy territory, overgrown, nasty, unkind. Throw me in and watch me swim. Mother Nature may be tough, I'm tougher. I'll take you where chaos is the cost of entry, where the fish are worth the fight. If you ask me, the bigger the question marks, the better the quest.
Every day, we live to serve you. On the farm, our tires work as hard as you do, ensuring a bountiful harvest. We empower your discovery beneath the surface. We stand tall with you to conquer timber. We maximize efficiency in an interconnected world. We help you build the foundation of tomorrow. No matter the job, we know that your success is our success. Because at Maximum Tire, we get the job done.
Our SV spool design is made with one thing in mind: casting control. Whether it is casting lightweight baits, skipping, pitching, or casting into the wind, the Tatula SV reels virtually eliminate backlashes when set properly. Now with our groundbreaking technology and innovations, backlashes can be a thing of the past.
So we're not all professional anglers. We don't all compete on the biggest stage. But inside us all burns the same fire to be a champion. It's why you get out early, brave the toughest conditions, point the bow toward adventure and put the hammer down. For whatever trophy or fish or memory you're chasing, count on a Mercury Pro XS outboard, engineered to deliver the speed and reliability you need to power the champion inside you.
The St. Croix Bassmaster Open at Lake Martin, presented by 7, is sponsored by Mercury, by PowerPole, and by Progressive Insurance. Scenes of Lake Martin here. Just kind of on a line between, let's say, Montgomery, Alabama, and Columbus, Georgia, a little bit north of that line here. The state of Alabama has been a long time recreational paradise for the people of Alabama. A lot of folks from Birmingham have houses here. All over, got some fancy houses and some great boat docks for fishing and a lot of brush piles. We're seeing all of that play today. We will see it. We haven't seen it yet. Let's get back out to Matt Adams. Brush pile definitely part of his strategy today. Got and a big one in a real battle for that 9th spot, the last spot in the opens with Bo Browning.
That's a better fish. He's not big, but he'll go in the box. No, he's not better. That's what happens when you don't get bit that often, though. Hey. They might not be very big, but they mean. I'm for sure he's 12. But... Oh, yeah.
Bill, I'm surprised that fish even got a chance to fight.
Absolutely. Them were the best ones, the ones that come straight in the boat.
Yeah, he crossed his eyes on that one.
The longer they're in the water, the more time they have to come off.
1 pound on the nose. Good night. Begging.
I want to bottle up some of his energy.
You'll hear him in a couple coves over next year. You'll, oh, what was that?
Right.
Somebody shoot a shotgun.
You know
no,
what, though?
That's
That's what we do it for.
Oh,
you know
no
what I mean?
doubt.
If you lose that, then you need to find something else to do. You know, and it like he said, doesn't matter if it's a 1 pounder or a 5 pounder. When it's an important bite, they get you excited.
A largemouth. Heck, it's a keeper. It's not very big, but there's a couple more with it I saw. We're going after largemouth, but we want bigger ones than that for sure. But we'll take it. Number 4. About 1.5 pounds. Like I say, not the right one, but you got to start somewhere.
Cody Meyer, what a year's made every cut but one. You think about these 200 boat fields, that's an achievement right there.
I think we'll have to get into it later this week and later today about, he said he's going for largemouth, but he looks like he's fishing in a lot of places that people catch spotted bass as well, and how it's a simple fine line, Bill, of I'm fishing the front side of the dock and I'm fishing for largemouth, and maybe I'm fishing the end of the dock and there's gonna be more spotted bass. How it's not just regionally on the lake where you're located, it can be on a specific spot as well.
Well, and so many of them docks have brush piles planted around them that are gonna come into play as well. But as you know, this is a lake where, like you just said, spots could be on there, largemouth could be on there. You got a lot of options. It's a target-rich environment. Definitely plenty of docks to fish. So historically, over the last few years, does the lake have a reputation for having any of the big spotted bass in it still, or?
I think obviously they'd probably be considered more unicorns than the standard, you know, than even, and not to throw out names of other lakes to dog it or anything, but the Hartwells and the Laniers and Smiths that are the spotted bass capitals of the South, those have giant capabilities. I think there's just a bunch of spotted bass in here, but we haven't seen that average size really elevate over the 2.5, 3 pound range.
I think we talked about this a little before when we were here in 18. Was that right, when Takahiro won?
Yes.
But I mean,
and now he's on the end of the dock, the same dock, and he catches a spot.
Catches a spot.
He
We
was a
just
large
talked about that. Yeah.
Like I
I
said,
caught a
Thanks,
5 pound.
Cody.
I caught a 5 pound spot here in 18 during
Wow.
practice.
And that was February.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shallow on a square bill. but then I caught a 7-pound largemouth. 2 unicorns, I'm assuming, right?
Yes, exactly. And you could try to get away from it, Tommy. You could go up the river. But spotted bass love current too, so even when it necks down and gets more current flow, you could run into spotted bass up river as well.
I think that can be said for every spotted bass lake in Alabama. You can catch them on the lower end all the way up to the headwaters of the river or anywhere in between. Lots of options.
Fifth fish gets Cody Meyer in our top 10. Daryl Gleason just jumped in there with his limit fish as well.
Been to every one of our opens this year is Daryl Gleason.
I think Daryl has fished every single open for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because he fished every open to make the Elite Series, and while he was on the Elites, he fished the full gamut. 9 Elites, the Classic, and 9 Opens. He was fishing 18 to 20 events a year and kept it up this year as well. He had a stash up north, though. He had the Northern mustache.
They're totally different.
But he finally shaved it, I think. So he's back to old Daryl.
I didn't see a picture of him with a mustache. That's funny.
Oh, it was distinguished for sure.
Couldn't recognize him hardly.
Gosh, dog, dude, it's a big one. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Please, dear Lord. Please, dear Lord. Yes! Look at that! Thank you, Lord. That's the bite I've been looking for all morning long. I've been throwing that top water.
That fish should weigh 5 pounds.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look what just happened. Oh my gosh, that's a game changer. It's skinny as a rail, but it's heavy enough. Dude, that is a blessing from the Lord above right there. Thank you, Lord. Oh my gosh. Dude, this fish is a game changer.
You want to talk about 5-pound limits, Bill? This could be a 5-pound cull. He had a 1-pounder.
Man. Dude, it's almost 4 pounds. It's like it's 3 3/4.
It should be a 5.5.
But he's adding 2.5, 2 3/4 to his
dude.
smallest fish was a 1.2 or a 1.4.
A 3-pound cull get him close to 10 pounds. And the lead, of course.
Dude, unbelievable. Thank you.
There's the fish that you need. Everyone said shooting for 10 pounds will have you in a good spot. And now Dakota Ebear at 10 pounds with the rest of the day. No telling what tomorrow can bring, but he's already separated himself with that one bite.
For those guys. And that's why the tournament got switched, because of the other hurricane in South Carolina, that went through there. So a lot going on, but I'm glad to be here on Martin. Thankful they were able to switch the tournament here, and I'm really thankful after that bite.
I haven't looked. Are the weather conditions going to be kind of the same? Do we have any weather coming in, or?
I think they're the same all the way through. Maybe a little wind one of the days, but not much.
Well, wind's definitely going to help.
Yeah.
You see in Alex City, it's going to be a high of almost 80 today, low of 50 by tomorrow morning, high of 75 tomorrow, and then 50 and 79 on Saturday. Winds all less than 10. Today actually is the highest wind day.
Today's the wind.
Today is the highest wind
kind
day.
of early in the morning. But Dakota Ebear with that 4-pounder right on top, almost 4 pounders, 3 3/4 pounds. Big, giant game changer for Lake Martin, no doubt about that. Unseating Austin Cranford and Alan Armour. And Big lead for him right now. We have got things happening, things popping on Lake Martin. We'll be right back.
Out here, it takes a certain type. The type who's always the first one out. The type who knows deep down everyone else is just fishing for second. Enter the Apex Series. See more fish. Seize more victories. Settle for nothing less. With unrivaled clarity, it's the top fish finder for the most demanding type of angler. Only from Humminbird.
Each Camus boat is a masterpiece, created by the hands of the finest craftsmen in Middle Tennessee. Our team isn't just making boats, they're crafting legacies. Camus stands for quality, craftsmanship, and performance without compromise. Join us and experience why every journey on a Camus boat is about more than fishing. Camus boats, crafted for excellence, built for adventure.
Beautiful coastline, diverse waterways. It's a nature lover's dream. It's some of the best fishing in the country. It's New York State. Discover the possibilities with 7,500 lakes and ponds, 165 species of fish, and thousands of miles of coast to explore. Catch all the adventures waiting for you. Serenity or sport, it's easy to love New York. Plan your world-class fishing getaway at iloveny.com.
Any short-sighted spy in the field can provide you with images. Only the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams provide tactical reconnaissance. High-resolution photos and videos paired with detailed intel of where game is most active. Built for simplicity, just turn on your Edge 2 cell cam and it will auto-connect to one of the 4 major cellular networks, while our easy-to-use app arms you with game plan so you can determine where and when to hunt. Don't just capture images, gather intelligence.
We're all sick of those deep-voiced industry buzzwords. Let's actually talk about something fun. Swim baits. The issue is it's intimidating for most anglers to gain confidence in throwing something this big. At Clutch Swim Bait Company, our social media posts, our videos, and our website is all dedicated to helping you, the angler, gain confidence in throwing these big baits. Beginner to advanced, we provide you the products and resources to help you catch more game-changing fish. If you'd like to take your swim bait fishing to the next level, check us out on social media or at clutchswimbaitco.com.
Good Thursday morning to you. It's live bass fishing this morning. St. Croix Bassmaster Open at Lake Martin. The Bassmaster opens in the second tier, right below the Bassmaster Elite Series. And one of the big stories today is 9 of our top points getters throughout this 9-event season on the Opens are going to be among that top 9 at the end of the day on Saturday, because they will advance to the Elite Series. They'll be fishing at the top level next year. Dakota Ebert made a big argument for his going to the Elites this year just moments ago with an almost 4-pounder. That is a game changer size fish here on Lake Martin. He has got a terrific limit.
He was
into
right,
our 3rd hour fishing already.
He was right there neck and neck. The closest anyone's been to Easton Fothergill all season long was him going into Leech Lake.
Yeah, Leech Lake.
And on day 2, when it was a shortened event to do, him only catching 1 keeper had him plummet to the 90s.
I don't want to get distracted
7th
chasing around
to 94th, Ronnie.
Bait right now because that right now is a time we need to capitalize on this morning bite. Try to see if we can catch one more like that.
Dakota, of course, a well-traveled bass angler. He's won $1 million on other tours. He has certainly been around and has certainly proven his bona fide qualifications for fishing at the top level. He's just the Bassmaster Elite Series is the one level that he is looking to attain this year. And of course, he has done very well at it this year. Former rodeoer at Tarleton State University in Texas.
I got to know Dakota in college in that 2013, 2014 time period where we overlapped. I was graduating and he was starting college. Covering him at Tarleton State, I knew that he had what it took, but the question is, would he be able to go outside of Texas and do it? That's his home background. That's where he was. He really challenged himself, Tommy, outside of Texas, even going up and fishing divisions, just smallmouth fishing to get good up north. Dakota has used the last few years to really fine-tune his craft, and you can see how consistent he is. And to think that his worst finish of the year, he went into that final day, the 94th place at Leech Lake. He went in 7th place, like Such said. It would have been one of his best finishes of the year, and it turned out to be his worst just because of that poor day, too. But
he was second place in EQ points for 4 tournaments, only 1 point behind Fothergill after St. Clair.
Still in all 6 out of 8 cuts. In this format, with this competition he's up against out here, that is just unbelievable. Just
Absolutely.
a great job. A testament to how good he really is. And of course, he had that reputation coming over here.
And we talk about cuts. When we talk about the Elite Series, 100 anglers, 50th is the cut line we talk about. For the Opens, to get a check, it is 45th. And so he has 6 of 8, Tommy, but he had a 46th place finish. So he's really had, I mean, absolutely 7 in the top 50.
Yeah.
That's 7 top 50s is incredible.
Well, and you take into consideration that we have 200 plus boat fields.
Versus 100 or less than 100.
It's extremely tough. Like I said, this was my first year in 18 years fishing an Open, and I was just blown away at,
Where'd you guys come
boats,
from?
the competition, you know what I mean?
Oh, Lord.
The long hair
It
by
was,
these young guys. Everybody's got long hair these
Baby
days.
faces.
It was
Wagner filling out
Like
his limit.
Martin special.
I'm amazed that except for Fothergill and Meyer, everybody else in our top of the points has had a really bad finish. 100th place for Tucker Smith, 144th, Emil Wagner, 189th in the third event, Santee. Loberg has a 95th.
Are we sure, did Emil fish at Santee? 189th, that is tough.
Tough. You just about have to skip
Ronnie.
to get down that far.
Every single day of competition after that Santee Cooper event has been so crucial for Emil. And even Leech Lake, we had him on camera. He was in the top 10 after day 1. But to see him go catch a good one, a good smallmouth, and then go for a few hours with no fish, he changes gears and catches 2 largemouth, flipping shallow cover, then gets back out there and catches 2 good smallmouth to fill his limit. It was like, okay, is this kid going to die out here on this pattern? Or is he going to adjust it this late in the season? And he has proven. He's a former BFL All-American as well. We talked about Paul Marks.
Yeah.
He won last year.
Hartwell.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why he was so bummed that we moved it from
Well,
Hartwell.
yeah, I would think so. But top 25 in all but one tournament. But that one tournament is what torpedoed his point status, kept him out of the top.
They've been following him all season long in the AFTCO boot camp. Kind of watching his whole season and how it goes as he travels. We need a camera crew to follow Matt Adams' whole season.
Enjoyed his tournament updates. He gives a video post almost every morning or afternoon before the event's telling you what's going to happen or what has happened, what he's got going on, like his 4 and 5 pounders he caught.
You're telling me I didn't even need to call him Such. I could have just watched his video this
exactly.
morning or
That's
last
it.
night. It just saved me 20 minutes.
Instead of running up a huge phone bill, Ron, come on, think about the company.
I still got to buy minutes,
Let's get back out to our points leader, Easton Fothergill. Bit of a slow start, very early today, but he took care of that before too long. Oh, got one in the boat. Not a bad one.
That's number 5, I believe.
4 more.
Like we heard him say earlier, he's waiting on that sun to get up and get his fish positioned. I believe he said he was fishing some brush pile stuff with a jig. I think we're going to hear that a lot about that better than average fish coming out of those brush piles.
240.
240, yeah. 240 would equate to a 2.6 or so, 2.7.
That's a giant.
That is
Yes, sir. Easton Fothergill proving he can do it in Alabama as well. So, man, where can he not do it? This is a pretty impressive guy. Let's bring in an Alabama angler from the Bassmaster Elite Series. Wesley Gore, I think, is standing by, and we've got him on the phone, or we got him in a picture? We got him on the. There we go. Okay, there he is. There's Wesley. Wesley, great season. First of all, congratulations, top 10 Angler of the Year points. Man, that's a tremendous, very impressive performance in your freshman year out here. But let's talk about Lake Martin. What do you know about Lake Martin, and what are you seeing out there today?
Well, I've spent a few days down there, and can y'all hear me by chance? Okay, sweet. But I've spent some days down there. It's overall it's a pretty tough fishery. I mean, a 2 to 3 pounder is going to be the ones they're looking for. If they can manage to get 5 fish over 2 pounds every day, they'll be in the competition, especially if they can catch a real big one to go with it. It's got big ones swimming around in it, just like any lake that you go to, but they're just really, really hard to pattern or even consistently catch. I mean, I think I looked at some of the local tournaments from this past week, and to break the 12-pound mark, you had to have a 5 or 6 pounder. But you're probably going to see that as the day goes on, the people that are going to start transitioning towards the bank, much like Easton. I've talked to him this week about kind of, I was wanting to know what his game plan was, and I think he nailed it dead on the head. He noticed that the fish are getting shallower and shallower as the day goes. There's wolf packs swimming around. I mean, that's how you're going to see the stuff go down. You're going to see some bigger ones get caught after lunch for sure.
Wesley, I got a question for you. You were in this position last year. You were sweating it out at the Harris chain, right there, middle of the top 9, hoping you didn't fall. Now you think a year later you had a top 10 in the Elite Series, your rookie year, and you still didn't win Rookie of the Year. How incredible was that group that you fished against in the Opens as they made their way to the Elites this past season?
I mean, the Opens run was pretty exceptional, but I think the Elite Series run was even more crazy. I caught them better this year than I have in a long time, and you just could never get ahead of them, much less even catch up with them. I mean, it was just insane. But this new group that's coming in is going to be just as good. I mean, I know several of them pretty well, if not most of them, and they're all really good. I mean, I grew up fishing against Tucker for a long time. He's always won a bunch of stuff, especially. He's won, I think, is it 3 national championships? I don't want to discredit him. Is that right? In high school, yeah. And then he's won a college national championship. I mean, he's won a ton of stuff. And then I'm familiar with Emil and then Easton as well. I went to school with him for some time, so I know that those guys are gonna it'll be just changing for them. I mean, it'll be the same thing. It'll probably make them catch them better, honestly. Because I mean, I can tell you that's what it done for me. I mean, it just makes you so much more comfortable. I guess not having to worry about getting there, you can just focus on fishing more. I mean, and not worry about everything else around you, and it allows you to actually have a little bit better peace of mind.
Well, Wesley, we appreciate it. We're glad we caught you today checking out your future competition on Lake Martin there, and we appreciate your opinions on it. And thank you so much, and good luck in 2025 with the Bassmaster Elite Series.
Wesley, man, when you talk about all the levels, Tommy, of competition that these anglers can do. He was a high school standout with Zeke Gossett. I remember him back in the day. Okay. They go on to college. He does well there. Steps away from college, fishes really strong at the ABT level, which is the local Alabama trail, and then makes the Opens and the Elite Series look easy. So every stepping stone, it's not easy to get there.
Well, we were talking earlier about Dakota Ebert starting the day 7th place in points. He had not finished the job of qualifying for the Bassmaster Elite Series, taking a big step in the last hour.
Don't give up.
Discover the Dakota Lithium DL Plus 135 amp-hour battery. With dual-purpose 135 amp-hour deep cycle capacity and an impressive 1,000 cold cranking amps, this innovative battery is equipped with even heat technology, allowing charging even in temperatures below 32 Fahrenheit, and boasts power gauge Bluetooth connectivity for real-time monitoring. Dakota Lithium, engineered to power your passion from bow to stern.
You're here for the hook set and nothing else. Because the battle between you and the bass should always be front and center. And now that the best trolling motors ever made are even better, we'll lead the charge. So you can focus on getting them to bite whenever and wherever the fight takes you. With Minn Kota, you're free to fish on any front.
Every day, we live to serve you. On the farm, our tires work as hard as you do, ensuring a bountiful harvest. We empower your discovery beneath the surface. We stand tall with you to conquer timber. We maximize efficiency in an interconnected world. We help you build the foundation of tomorrow. No matter the job, we know that your success is our success. Because at Maximum Tire, we get the job done.
Our SV spool design is made with one thing in mind: casting control. Whether it is casting lightweight baits, skipping, pitching, or casting into the wind, the Tatula SV reels virtually eliminate backlashes when set properly. Now with our groundbreaking technology and innovations, backlashes can be a thing of the past.
So we're not all professional anglers. We don't all compete on the biggest stage. But inside us all burns the same fire to be a champion. It's why you get out early, brave the toughest conditions, point the bow toward adventure, and put the hammer down. For whatever trophy or fish or memory you're chasing, count on a Mercury Pro XS outboard, engineered to deliver the speed and reliability you need to power the champion inside you.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the St. Croix Bassmaster Open at Lake Martin here on Bassmaster Live. Alexander City, Alabama is our host town here. We're in East Central Alabama. It's been a while since we've had Bassmaster Live from Lake Martin, enjoying the trip back here. It's a very unique place. Different sort of setup, different baseline for the size of keepers and so forth, and what's going to be competitive out here. We're learning as we go today. Trying to get reacquainted with this legendary lake. Let's get out to Georgia's Emil Martin. Excuse me, Emil Wagner on Lake Martin.
One. Yes. Fired up about 1.5 pounds, let me tell you. If that. Not even. 141.
getting it done out of here. Born in Denmark. Fished for Ole Miss in college. Guy on Lake Lanier. He's trying to make it to the Bassmaster Elite Series, and he's hooked up again.
That is a big one. No, he's
sure was fighting like a big one.
400 feet of line out when he bit. I don't know what's going on here.
Got to be better than a 1 pounder, and he's got a lot of those in the live well. Find out later if that was any help for him. Back out to Evan Kung, still shy of a limit.
Tiny one.
Got that limit filled out for Evan Kung, Toronto area, up there in Ontario, Canada. Let's get back out to Idaho native Cody Meyer.
Dakota A-Bear still leading behind that almost 4 pounder, 9.5 pounds. Dalton Smith comes up to second place with 9 pounds even.
Gosh, I thought it was bigger. I don't even know if that's going to help. I think it's going to call that first one. Let's see. That's where it's supposed to be. But it's not the right one. I really thought that was going to be a largemouth up there. It's an aggressive 15-inch spot.
Ronnie, that's what we talked about before. Spots and largemouth being on a dock together. That spotted bass right there was exactly where there should have been a largemouth. You know, under the walkway, in the shade.
And you could come back tomorrow and catch a 3-pound largemouth in that same spot.
Yep.
I mean, it's definitely going to call.
And I bet you we're going to see that happen.
I think I've seen you in the state of Alabama. Maybe it was Gunnersville in a classic, catch
Still
like
not
9
what we're
fish off the
looking for,
same
but I
dock
think
post in
that's
a row.
Absolutely.
I think I saw
name of the
that.
game on this place is.
I have a tendency to find that one dock that has like 10 or 15 fish on it.
And everyone seems to be fishing the docks behind you, and they're like, ah, dang it.
Move on, will you?
Right.
So Matt Adams said, he got in a rotation behind Easton Fothergill at Leech Lake, and that is not a guy and not a lake you want to get behind a rotation on him on. And
I literally think he's bigger than that one, though. Just to get a fresh fish. Just to get a fresh guy.
Yeah, when you get on a bad rotation, it's never good. And you have no idea really that it's even happening.
Right, yeah, oh yeah. Most of the time you don't, right?
I'm gonna put a club on it.
So many of these keepers so close in size, and Loberg kind of giving us a little clues to his management techniques. We want to replace a fresh one with one that's been in the live well for a couple hours, which kind of makes sense. You want to do your best at fish care, and that's part of the process.
Yeah, it's very important to keep them alive and take care of them.
They're both the same size. Keep the newer one. Let's take a look at Andrew Lilbert. Grant, Alabama, originally though from California. Grew up on Folsom and Clear Lake.
Loves fishing with a jig. That's one of his favorite baits. And at Eufaula, he got to put to work, you know, every single one of those rocks right off of, you know, you can see the bank that he's fishing, not far from takeoff, but those rocks, look at the size of the shad they were eating there, and he came up just close enough to a classic he could taste it, but not quite. Second place to Easton Fothergill. But overall, very, very consistent. Santee threw a lot of our guys for a loop, and the weather there, and the fishing was much different at Santee than people expected. And people got in bad rotations there as well, Bill, and just found themselves on the wrong side of the cut line.
Did keep it under 100. That's important. If you're going to go high, don't go through the roof. Certainly kept himself in the game.
We were okay with double-digit finishes, Tommy. We were really good with single digits, and we really hate triple digits. You just stay away from the triple digits.
Yeah, we hate them for sure. I had quite a few of them this year.
Little guys. We got to get out of this spot. I think he's bigger than that largemouth. These spots do not want these tags.
Catching continues on here at Lake Martin in Alabama. Dakota Ebert, the man who has risen to the top, first man to top 10 pounds, and everybody talking about, hey, that's your weight for the day. That's a good start for Dakota Ebert, but he's going to catch some more, no doubt about that. Dalton Smith of Kentucky moving up into the second place, and Austin Cranford of Oklahoma right now in third. We'll be right back.
Live imaging shows you what's below in real time with edge-to-edge clarity and no gaps in coverage, all so you can turn must-watch detail into non-stop action. Only from Humminbird.
Each Caymas boat is a masterpiece, created by the hands of the finest craftsmen in Middle Tennessee. Our team isn't just making boats, they're crafting legacies. Caymas stands for quality, craftsmanship, and performance without compromise. Join us and experience why every journey on a Caymas boat is about more than fishing. Caymas Boats, crafted for excellence, built for adventure.
Beautiful coastline, diverse waterways. It's a nature lover's dream. It's some of the best fishing in the country. It's New York State. Discover the possibilities in 7,500 lakes and ponds, 165 species of fish, and thousands of miles of coast to explore. Catch all the adventures waiting for you. Serenity or sport, it's easy to love New York. Plan your world-class fishing getaway at iloveny.com.
More than a simple spy, the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams are your covert analysts in the field. SD card-free, built-in memory. Onboard Moultrie AI for false trigger reduction. Cloud-based AI for detailed tagging and filtering. You don't just get high-resolution photos and videos. You get access to our easy-to-use app, arming you with game plan, weather forecasts, and mapping, so you know when and where to hunt. Don't just capture images. Gather intelligence.
Discover the Dakota Lithium DL Plus 135 amp-hour battery. With dual-purpose 135 amp-hour deep cycle capacity and an impressive 1,000 cold cranking amps, this innovative battery is equipped with even heat technology, allowing charging even in temperatures below 32 Fahrenheit, and boasts power gauge Bluetooth connectivity for real-time monitoring. Dakota Lithium, engineered to power your passion from bow to stern.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
Bassmaster Live, coming to you from Lake Martin for this St. Croix Bassmaster Open here, the last of the year. Kayak action going on out there. Big recreational lake is Lake Martin. And speaking of kayaks, we have got the Omaha Rightwaters Bassmaster Kayak Series going full speed this year. Got one big tournament coming up here in less than a couple of weeks. Coming to you from Caddo Lake, Shreveport, Louisiana. Going to be a good one there. And I think I read the other day that they are going to have their national championship next year in Texas, right around Classic time when we're Ray Roberts here with the Elite Series. And wait for it, at Lake Fork.
Yes.
How about that?
That fits perfect for, obviously, Lake Fork is a catch-weigh release because it has a big slot limit. You can have weigh tournaments there, but it's very difficult. That Classic that they do for the Kayak Series is a measurement one. So just catching all you can catch with them. Oh, it's going to be a great one there.
Absolutely, yeah. Put that on your calendar for sure.
Except that time of the year.
Bassmaster.com too.
Tommy, that time of the year, though, you might catch an 18-incher that's a 6-pounder. Yeah. And the inches don't do it justice on how big it was. You know?
Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's harder to impress people, but I think the visuals are going to say it all.
Be a good place to get pulled around in a kayak for sure.
They got some in there that can pull a full bass boat around. So.
Like he visually saw that one cruising.
I don't know if he saw it with his eyes or saw it on sonar. I know he's trying to get back in there for sure. Where are you?
There's like 20 of them this size right there.
Well, Easton, not surprisingly knocking on the door to the top 10 here on this first day of competition, Lake Martin.
His closest pursuer in the Tackle Warehouse EQ Points Angler of the Year race, Cody Myers, in our top 10, but Fothergill's right there not letting up any ground at all, hardly.
It's still crazy, though, the fact that Easton could get he could get 37th and make a check and another great finish and lose because Cody Meyer could be in the top 10. So it's one of those things of, I don't trust my nearest competitor, not because they're deceitful, because they're so good, Bill. It's like, I can't. Right. 20 points these days is nothing to make up. We saw Chris Johnston go from 31st entering day 3 at the St. Lawrence River, and he ends the tournament in 4th and wins Angler of the Year because of that big jump. On one single day, he made that jump. So.
Well, he had 29 pounds, so.
Well, yeah, I mean. Well, here, 11, that's the
equivalent
of 29.
13-pound day
27.
Here. How far will they jump?
Context.
That's how we always stress how important one day can be, or one bite. And it all shakes out and it shows up at the end of the season. You can look back and remember, oh man, that one fish I lost or that one fish I caught made all the difference.
I don't believe we didn't catch one of those.
I feel like one thing that separates, and you can speak to this, Bill, that separates someone who's going to make that jump and qualify for the Elite Series and someone who just can't seem to get out of the mud. You know, they're just stuck. They'll have a good one, have a bad one. Is just putting yourself in a good position to succeed. It's not always being on the winning fish and not always having the right bait. It's being comfortable and putting yourself in that position, and it just happens.
You're exactly right, you know, and we always say, you know, you kind of put yourself in your comfort zone.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
And like you just said, it's not always about winning. It's about, you know, look at my career, for example, about just being very consistent. And that's the way, you know, when I fished the Opens back in the day to qualify for the Elites, just being consistent. And then once I made it to the Elites, being consistent. And I feel like when you stay consistent and you just keep yourself in your comfort zone, you fish to the best of your abilities.
Enough shots on goal, and then a win will pop up.
Well, absolutely.
You know?
So you hope so.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, I used my win, for example. It popped up, and I kind of changed my whole game plan and tried not to be so consistent over the last few years and maybe go for that win. And I think it's time to go back to being consistent again.
Extremely hard to come by, but we started the morning with a crankbait and a topwater. My biggest bites in practice came on a Berkeley Chapo, but it's a tough deal to do because you're liable to go hours without a bite. And when you're in my position and you just need a solid event, I'm leaning towards just fishing all this brush and trying to catch as many as I can. But that's the game plan as of now. We're gonna see if we can cull up to maybe somewhere between 8 and 10 pounds, and then we might go throw that top water some more.
And it's cool, Ronnie, to sit here and watch on the outside looking in, watching these guys, how confident they are in what they're doing, and that's almost like watching seasoned veterans.
Yeah.
You know, they make really good decisions. They're calm. You know, we've listened to every one of them this morning start out with a game plan, and they're sticking to it.
Yes,
you know, none of them, not seen anybody want to start spinning out or anything yet, but it's cool kind of just to sit here and watch.
Watching some of Emil Wagner's season here, which is a big finish on Logan Martin, 4th place. That was a big one. That was big. And
we talked about how Emil's had a really great season overall. Hadn't seen him on camera a ton, but the couple times we have, he has definitely shown out. And the ability, like they're confident in their game plan, but willing to change when they realize I could run into a brick wall today and just not go well. He had a topwater deal going at Logan Martin and then dialed it in offshore, and there he was fishing smallmouth, then switched to largemouth. And like Such said, look at all those finishes. Top 24
top
in
25
every event
for one.
except for Santee.
And he's 91 points back of our EP points leader. If he would have just made the cut in that event, he could be leading.
If he just got a top 100.
Yeah.
If he just got
100 points.
If he had 2 digits, think of where he'd be. But hats off to him anyway.
Absolutely.
That is a phenomenal year. And he's getting the job done. He's got 6 pounds plus right now, not even halfway through the day. So,
you know, we look at those 100 and something place finishes, and that is so easy for that to happen. You know, we made our career out here fishing, but it is so easy to have an off day and finish in last place. And I don't think people realize that.
Especially at a place like Santee Cooper. It's one of the best big bass places, but in the spring, you could be a late boat number, head in to go catch some sight fish. Those fish be occupied by other anglers or be gone the next morning. You go get on some trees and start skipping trees, and you're behind a guy who's skipping trees and not getting first dibs at it. And then all of a sudden it's noon and you haven't had first dibs at anything and you don't know what to do. And especially with the wind and the weather, that can affect that place. That final day, Tommy, with Kyle Austin. I mean, if he wasn't completely sure and being someone who knew Santee well, he could have spun out so easy.
Oh, sure.
It was storming so bad and so much wind.
He knew the special place.
Yeah, I'm just trolling to another set of brush up here.
We're going to let Emil fish on here, see if he can make it to 10. Now, we're in Alabama here, which is a great bass fishing country, but you look at the top half of the country, the state of New York is hard to beat. I mean, that is bass fishing heaven. There is no doubt about it. Home to 6 of Bassmaster's top 100 bass lakes. With the St. Lawrence River topped that list, in fact, last year in 2023. 7,500 lakes and ponds, 70,000 miles of rivers, coastline, saltwater, everything. World-class fishing all the way from Buffalo in the west to the Adirondacks in the east. I love New York. That's what people who love bass fishing say. That is for sure. Stay with us. We'll be back in Alabama momentarily for more Bassmaster Live.
Beast of burden, an ally in enemy territory, overgrown, nasty, unkind. Throw me in and watch me swim. Mother Nature may be tough. I'm tougher. I'll take you where chaos is the cost of entry, where the fish are worth the fight. If you ask me, the bigger the question marks, the better the quest.
Every day, we live to serve you. On the farm, our tires work as hard as you do, ensuring a bountiful harvest. We empower your discovery beneath the surface. We stand tall with you to conquer timber. We maximize efficiency in an interconnected world. We help you build the foundation of tomorrow. No matter the job, we know that your success is our success. Because at Maximum Tire, we get the job done.
Our SV spool design is made with one thing in mind: casting control. Whether it is casting lightweight baits, skipping, pitching, or casting into the wind, the Tatula SV reels virtually eliminate backlashes when set properly. Now with our groundbreaking technology and innovations, backlashes can be a thing of the past.
So we're not all professional anglers. We don't all compete on the biggest stage. But inside us all burns the same fire to be a champion. It's why you get out early, brave the toughest conditions, point the bow toward adventure, and put the hammer down. For whatever trophy or fish or memory you're chasing, count on a Mercury Pro XS outboard, engineered to deliver the speed and reliability you need to power the champion inside you.
Out here, it takes a certain type. The type who's always the first one out. The type who knows deep down everyone else is just fishing for second. Enter the Apex Series. See more fish. Seize more victories. Settle for nothing less. With unrivaled clarity, it's the top fish finder for the most demanding type of angler. Only from Humminbird.
Each Camus boat is a masterpiece, created by the hands of the finest craftsmen in Middle Tennessee. Our team isn't just making boats, they're crafting legacies. Camus stands for quality, craftsmanship, and performance without compromise. Join us and experience why every journey on a Camus boat is about more than fishing. Camus boats, crafted for excellence, built for adventure.
Beautiful coastline, diverse waterways. It's a nature lover's dream. It's some of the best fishing in the country. It's New York State. Discover the possibilities with 7,500 lakes and ponds, 165 species of fish, and thousands of miles of coast to explore. Catch all the adventures waiting for you. Serenity or sport, it's easy to love New York. Plan your world-class fishing getaway at iloveny.com.
Any short-sighted spy in the field can provide you with images. Only the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams provide tactical reconnaissance. High-resolution photos and videos paired with detailed intel of where game is most active. Built for simplicity, just turn on your Edge 2 cell cam and it will auto-connect to one of the 4 major cellular networks, while our easy-to-use app arms you with game plan so you can determine where and when to hunt. Don't just capture images, gather intelligence.
We're all sick of those deep-voiced industry buzzwords. Let's actually talk about something fun. Swim baits. The issue is it's intimidating for most anglers to gain confidence in throwing something this big. At Clutch Swim Bait Company, our social media posts, our videos, and our website is all dedicated to helping you, the angler, gain confidence in throwing these big baits. Beginner to advanced, we provide you the products and resources to help you catch more game-changing fish. If you'd like to take your swim bait fishing to the next level, check us out on social media or at clutchswimbaitco.com.
Don't give up.
Bassmaster Live coming to you from Lake Martin in Alabama here at the St. Croix Bassmaster Open, presented by 7 Reels. Alexander City is our host city. Dakota E-Bear is our tournament leader unofficially right now as it stands, but I think it's pretty close to being official. Caught a good one here, almost a 4-pounder, which is beyond the gold standard here. That's game changer standard here in the past hour, and has really rocketed to the top of that leaderboard, but plenty more time left to fishing. We have not even reached the halfway point of this day yet. Take you right back out to this 44,000-acre Lake Martin, almost 100 years old. It was the biggest man-made lake in America when it was filled up in 1926. Andrew Loberg may be 26. Actually, he's a little more than 26 years old.
Just turned 30, yeah.
Just turned 30, that's right. Andrew getting it done today in 11th place so far as it stands. Part of those 9 trying to remain at the top of the Tackle Warehouse EQ standings and make it to the Elite Series.
A little bit. Stop that. Compared to the 2 that I got in the live well, this is not a bad one. Hit spot lock real quick. Not bad. Wish these guys were just a little bit chubbier. They're just skinny out here, man. We'll take them, man. That pumps me up. Just got to keep hitting a bunch of brush. Now to figure out which one of these guys is gonna go.
Got to look after every ounce in this competition. An ounce could mean places in your finish at the end of it all. Could have a big effect on your bass fishing future. Back over to Paul Marks.
Yeah, definitely a lot on the line, and like you said, 1 ounce could be huge.
I think you made a prediction, Bill, that a lot of these guys are going to spend a third of their time today just weighing fish,
Culling,
and for good reason.
Yeah. And you know, this is an event where you need to be extremely careful while you're culling, because this could be an event where you could easily make a culling error and have too many fish in the live well. You know, catching so many fish and spending so much time in the live well, it could happen very easily. You know, we don't wish no bad luck on anybody by no means, but just you have to be extremely careful. You know, especially when you're catching so many and dealing with a little fish. You know, it could be hiding back in the corner of the live well or something, and you know, you just getting excited, so much on the line. It could happen. It's just, hopefully it doesn't happen, but this could be an event where it could happen very, very easily. You know, you always say, well, I'm never going to make a culling error, you know, but it happens. It's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of us.
I think the only person who's never said, I'm not going to make a culling error is Brandon Polinick. I think he's the
leader in all that, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's still every time he has, I think it's a routine. Every time he has a culling infraction, he wins the tournament. So that's not too bad. You know?
Usually during a big flurry as well, so I could
hope they can see
why
live
that
scope on live.
Got to make sure you're in the right
There's so
state
many.
too. You know. Avoid some
Hundreds.
infraction.
to call, yeah.
Absolutely.
Hopefully they don't get smart.
Yeah, I think we changed the rule on the culling deal after I made an error at Lake Oneida.
Next time with some stripes, maybe.
I think that's when we changed from
Did you used to lose your whole
losing your big
biggest
fish or however that
Yes.
was to go into the 2-pound deal. That was right after I did that at Oneida. I wish that would have been the case then, because then I wouldn't have got disqualified for that day.
You said guys have had bombs. Paul Marks has had 2 finishes in the 100s, 118th at Santee. He was actually, after 2 events, leading our point standings. He's coming into this one 6th place. Pretty good shot to make the elites.
Yeah, he started off with 2 top 10s at Okeechobee and Ouachita.
And he was like 19th before he reeled off 3 top 12s to get back inside our top 10 to potentially qualify for the elites next year.
Evan Kung starting the day in 8th place for points. 5 fish in the live well and an estimated 5 pounds. So
5 for 5.
That's
makes me feel like I'm at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I tell people you can win a tournament at home with 6 pounds, they laugh at me.
He's fatter than my smallest one. I don't know if he's 12 inches though. 14-incher.
It's got to beat a pound.
Helps a little bit. Green. Bleeding a lot. I have to watch them. That's what they're eating.
Paul Marks with a slight upgrade, but as we say, we keep stressing that every ounce counts. You cannot discount any little piece of advantage you can get. A tournament like this, very, very important tournament it is. We've got 120 anglers out there. Most of them have been with this all season long, and this is the big finale to their season here. And the St. Croix Bassmaster opens 2024. And we're headed for the halfway point on day number 1 when we come back.
Discover the Dakota Lithium DL Plus 135 amp-hour battery. With dual-purpose 135 amp-hour deep cycle capacity and an impressive 1,000 cold cranking amps, this innovative battery is equipped with even heat technology, allowing charging even in temperatures below 32 Fahrenheit, and boasts power gauge Bluetooth connectivity for real-time monitoring. Dakota Lithium, engineered to power your passion from bow to stern.
You're here for the hook set and nothing else. Because the battle between you and the bass should always be front and center. And now that the best trolling motors ever made are even better, we'll lead the charge. So you can focus on getting them to bite whenever and wherever the fight takes you. With Minn Kota, you're free to fish on any front.
Live coverage continuing. St. Croix Bassmaster Open, Lake Martin. Final tournament of the season. 9th of 9 events during the course of 2024. And there, unofficially, is your leaderboard with Dakota Ebear, one of our overachievers, definitely throughout the year. Sitting on top of that leaderboard, making a play to win the last one. But there's a long time to go before we get the final weigh-in. That's coming up Saturday. 3 days longer, these events. Have the coverage for you. let's just call Dakota Ebert our Mercury move of the day. And we all know about that biggest move of the day, Ronnie.
Yeah, absolutely crucial. You see the 1.5, the 1.5, the 114. The 114s aren't too shabby. He wouldn't mind weighing those in.
Yeah.
You want to get rid of as many 1.5s as possible. They are littered in Lake Martin, and that 312, that almost 4-pounder that he caught on topwater, he's been using it all day, and that's the kind of bite that you'll run into, Bill Lowen. If you do that all day long, you're hoping for a couple good bites, but at minimum, at least one good bite, and he got that earlier this morning, and that's the reason he broke the double-digit mark.
This was exactly 1 hour ago, and this is the fish we're talking about right here, and the minute he hooked into this one, he knew it was good.
Thank you, Lord. That's the bite I've been looking for all morning long. I've been throwing that topwater. Oh my gosh. My gosh, that's a game changer. It's skinny as a rail, but it's heavy enough. Dude, unbelievable.
And you're going to have to get that bite every day to have an opportunity to win.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, Bill, he's got to be feeling a little bit more relaxed. He came in here 7th in points, only 11 ahead of falling out of making the elites next year. So catching that big fish and having a decent day one weight, he's got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I would think so. You know, anytime you can get yourself to that mark where you think you need to be, you just fish more relaxed, more comfortable, you make good decisions.
Tucker Smith, of course, we mentioned the fact that he was a high school national champion, also a college national champion, college team of the year as well.
Man, he's been a runner-up. I hate to say it, Tucker has been one spot from making the Classic like 4 times. He's been runner-up in the bracket twice. He's gotten second in 2 different opens, I'm pretty sure, as well. He's just been knocking at the door of that, but...
He's second twice this year in the opens, yeah.
Yeah, where was
Started
his?
at Okeechobee.
Oh, Okeechobee, that's right. He was 21 pounds behind there. He was a little closer at Logan Martin, but yes, that was a record-setting performance by Scott Martin. And then
only guy fishing deep at Okeechobee.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, him and Paul Marks were right in the rim ditch.
Yeah, rim canal. Yeah.
I'm keeping an eye on the Bass Track leaderboard, and I see Joey Nania tied for 3rd with Cody Meyer. This isn't his home lake because he fishes the Coosa River. You know, Logan Martin and Neely Henry and all those different lakes are more of what he fishes, but I would watch for Joey later in this week.
It's a giant white bass.
Heartbreaker. Looks like the wind's blowing pretty good out there today.
A healthy chop on that water. Mm-hmm. That one was wrong species for Tucker Smith there, so we're moving on. Back to Paul Marks.
Won't be a bass.
That drag starts stripping, they automatically think it's a striper or a white bass.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is the right one, though.
Yes. Yes. Wasn't sure what I had.
It's a good spot there.
Not too shabby.
Yes. 180.
Almost a 2-pounder. Mm-hmm. One of those 114s we were talking about that you don't mind. Mm-hmm. You don't mind weighing in.
Let's get back over to Cody Meyer, 2nd place in points to start this tournament. 27 points behind Easton Fothergill.
He's back to that dock that he was fishing earlier.
It looks like the same one.
Yeah. He caught a largemouth on the right side of that dock, and like you said, Bill, it's got to have some brush around it probably.
Go. Not a bad one, huh?
Yeah. It doesn't matter where we go in the country, it always seems like there's that, we'll just call it a special dock, you know, for whatever reason, where it's sitting in the cove or the pocket or, you know, what it has around it, just always tends to hold fish.
I'd say.
And once you find that dock, it seems like every year you go there, that same dock will produce year after year after year.
And it could be a recipe of brush piles under the dock. It could be the contour of the bank that it's on, maybe some rubble. But most definitely if people look at docks and they're like, oh, well, I'll just fish a bunch of docks today. There's a certain type of dock,
exactly.
and it's got to have a recipe.
In the 8th spot, points-wise, to start this tournament, this 9th event for the Opens. Well, Evan Kung tried this tackle warehouse EQ route last year in 2023 and did not get good results. He could have been discouraging, but he was not discouraged. He came back in 2024 and it has been a completely different story for Evan.
Yeah, he said he learned a bunch fishing and traveling outside of where he's from overall, but a lot of lessons learned, and like Bill was talking about, listening to the dock talk sometimes can get you astray. And we know that guys like Kenta Kimura have even said that on the Elite Series. They did great in the Opens, go to the Elites, struggle their first year, and they said, I just listened to too many people and I need to do what I like to do and what I'm comfortable doing. And Evan Kung has done that in every step of the way. I mean, you think you can peg him as a northern angler and he's a deep water fisherman, and then he goes to Santee Cooper and gets a 9th place finish as well, when a lot of our deep water specialists struggled that week.
Yeah, he really gained a lot on the field by doing that well in South Carolina. Of course, he did have trouble swimming, never got over in triple digits. That's important.
No, yeah.
You're going to make a campaign like this.
He said all year, I'm trying to survive until I get to the northern swing, and the final southern event of the beginning of the season, Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma, was the one that stung him before he got to St. Clair.
Interesting stat about Evan, he has qualified for 4 Bassmaster team championships.
Really? I did not know that.
I've never heard of anybody doing
that.
Wow. Finished as high as 20th place in Hartwell one of those years.
He led the EQ point standings after the 3rd and 4th events, and he had his 2 bombs, the 95th and 96th. But he's still in position, can make it a good tournament here.
And where's Evan's home? Is that Canada as well?
Yeah, up in Toronto area, Pickering, Ontario.
It's amazing the amount of texts we get during live when we have somebody like Evan Kung or an Easton Fothergill, and they're like, we are proud of them back home, but we are so glad when they go on the road and fish in the Opens, because they're not beating us at home, and like they're so dominant. And they said Evan Kung's up there with the Johnstons and Cooper Gallant and some of these tournaments when they all fish against each other, like they're right there. And it reminds you of the Jamie Bruces, you know, him and Gussie live in the same town in Canada, and it's just these northern guys. We may not be as familiar with them, but boy, they have a contingent that's rooting for them, and they really have dedicated years before we actually see them to get to this point.
Get out of here and do well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the hardest thing to do, is to leave home where you fished your whole life and then, you know, come out here on the road and unfamiliar bodies of water, you know, different style fisheries, and it's extremely hard to do.
that's another reason these guys are just so, you got to take your hat off to them. They've done so well, so many different environments. What a great schedule for diversity this year.
Gotten 3 texts this morning already, Tommy, saying, "Oh, you guys are playing with us. You're going to announce the Open schedule next year while you're live this weekend, right?" And I was like, "I would if I knew it, but obviously
we do not.
I know what it is. You want me to tell you?
Yeah, tell me. Yeah, go ahead." Tournament director Hank Weldon's obviously been switching this around from Hartwell because of all the displaced folks and needs for full, participation up at Lake Hartwell region
to recover up.
Yeah, from the hurricane. Moved it to here, and after he secured that, they had to make sure all the boaters were aware and registered or not registered for the tournament, and now can resume finishing the schedule for next year.
They kind of cut off the entry into this tournament for locals and so forth, which is a pretty smart move.
So the one big reason, Lake Martin in some aspects fishes like Lake Hartwell, very similar in nature, largemouth spotted bass, a lot of creeks, a lot of different potential there. It's also a lake that's not necessarily as popular in the southeast, so that people weren't fishing in the off limits, in that. So if you let locals who've been fishing here the last 2 weeks in when you weren't allowed to as an Opens pro, that's the reason.
Yeah,
as well.
And nobody pre-practiced as well. As soon as they announced this venue,
it was already within the
it was in the time.
It was within the time
that nobody could fish. We got their 3.5 days, starting Saturday, I believe.
Let's get ourselves over to Matt Adams, check in with him.
Woo! Making hard on us today. Less than 6 pounds and 4 fish at 10 o'clock. It's not what I had in mind at all. Then again, ain't nothing this year been like I thought it'd be.
4 pounds and 6 ounces. And Matt's looking to have a limit by this time of day, but he does not. But 4 pounds and 6 ounces. They've got time to improve on all of that, and Matt Adams certainly has a game plan, so we will be in the boat with him for the remainder of this day, and we have plenty more fishing on the way from Alabama.
Don't give up.
Any short-sighted spy in the field can provide you with images. Only the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams provide tactical reconnaissance. High-resolution photos and videos paired with detailed intel of where game is most active. Built for simplicity, just turn on your Edge 2 cell cam and it will auto-connect to one of the 4 major cellular networks, while our easy-to-use app arms you with game plan, so you can determine where and when to hunt. Don't just capture images, gather intelligence.
Discover the Dakota Lithium DL Plus 135 amp-hour battery. With dual-purpose 135 amp-hour deep cycle capacity and an impressive 1,000 cold cranking amps, this innovative battery is equipped with even heat technology, allowing charging even in temperatures below 32 Fahrenheit, and boasts power gauge Bluetooth connectivity for real-time monitoring. Dakota Lithium, engineered to power your passion from bow to stern.
I'll be your beast of burden, an ally in enemy territory. Overgrown, nasty, unkind. Throw me in and watch me swim. Mother Nature may be tough. I'm tougher. I'll take you where chaos is the cost of entry, where the fish are worth the fight. If you ask me, the bigger the question marks, the better the quest.
Every day, we live to serve you. On the farm, our tires work as hard as you do, ensuring a bountiful harvest. We empower your discovery beneath the surface. We stand tall with you to conquer timber. We maximize efficiency in an interconnected world. We help you build the foundation of tomorrow. No matter the job, we know that your success is our success. Because at Maximum Tire, we get the job done.
Our SV spool design is made with one thing in mind: casting control. Whether it is casting lightweight baits, skipping, pitching, or casting into the wind, the Tatula SV reels virtually eliminate backlashes when set properly. Now with our groundbreaking technology and innovations, backlashes can be a thing of the past.
Getting close to the halfway point of this day. That's 8 hours of fishing afforded to the 120 anglers out there competing in the St. Croix Bassmaster Open. Lake Martin, 7. Dakota E-Bear, well-traveled pro, trying to make it to the Bassmaster Elite Series, one of the few barriers he has yet to conquer. Doing a good job of it. Started 7th place in points today, and that 1st place standing right now shows that he is on the right track. Giving himself a great shot to make that jump. We're in the boat with 9 of those anglers today, the top 9 points getters. Easton Fothergill, you see in the top left, is the #1 points getter throughout 2024 in the Opens. Andrew Loberg, Paul Marks, and Cody Meyer also in this thing, trying to maintain their top 9 status.
Meyer's got about 9.5 pounds. He's 2 pounds ahead of Fothergill, although Fothergill's only 11th. Meyer's in second. There's 9 spots, but there are 80 guys who don't have Bass Track fish entered. So there's a lot of guys who could pass him, and our 27-point lead from Fothergill could be in jeopardy.
Yeah.
He needs to catch him. He needs to catch and upgrade a few.
Nothing is settled yet, that is for sure.
A lot of fishing time left.
A lot of fishing time. A lot of guys looking good to make the Elite Series, but
to think at 3:30 or something like that, Tommy, tomorrow afternoon, when basically everyone's guaranteed to be done fishing, someone could catch a 4-pounder there that determines if they win the points race, or it could bump them up at any point. That's kind of the fear of it, but also the hope. If you're the one who needs the 4-pounder at any point, I can make my whole tournament up in one cast.
And we have seen one near 4-pounder caught today so far. 4-pounders, if you're just joining us, we're on Lake Martin. 4-pounders are a giant. That would be equivalent of a 7-pounder in a lot of places where we show fishing on Bassmaster Live. Every lake's got its own context, its own baseline for size.
Yeah, you're talking about the points race, Such, and that magic number. Easton's been boxing out every single angler all season long with how good of his finishes have been. If he gets top 27, it's done. No one can do anything, even if Cody Meyer's in the top 10, so we'll keep an eye on that. Wanted to bring it into the Dakota Lithium Screen of Knowledge. We are in our final Open of the season. It started way back early February down in South Florida. We've gone through 8 different states. We get over here to Lake Martin to end the season, an unexpected twist and turn to end the year. And here is who has made the Classic from the Open so far. We have one more spot available. available. Now, obviously, if one of these anglers that's in the field wins again, it would bump down to the Elite Series field, and Jonathan Kelly sitting at home would be very thankful for that. It's already moved down twice this year through the Opens, but Scott Martin started out the year winning at his home lake at Okeechobee, Jeremiah Kinney winning at his home lake at Ouachita. It really was a local fest the first few events. Kyle Austin, Josh Butler, both winning on their home bodies of water also, and that's 4 events into the season. We get to the 5th event. Easton Fothergill wins at Lake Eufaula. Huge final day, an 8, almost 9-pounder to anchor his bag. He wins that. We go over to St. Clair. Jay Shakir jumps in there, wins that tournament. He's already qualified through the Elite Series for the Classic, so it bumps down 1 more spot in the Elite field. We go to Leach. Then Easton wins for a 2nd time, so he is double qualified. It's moved down 1 more spot. We get to the Mississippi River and a 19.5-pound bag, the biggest bag of the tournament on the final day. Cody Stahl, one of the young anglers, came from the high school ranks, one of the All-Americans, goes to college. Now he's in the Opens, gets his big breakthrough, and he'll be fishing at Lake Ray Roberts, just like the rest of these anglers, when the Bassmaster Classic comes around next year. And we'll see, will one of these guys win again in 2024, or will we have a new angler, maybe a Cody Meyer, maybe a Dakota Ebert? I don't think, people might be okay with Cody or Dakota making the Elites. I don't think they want him in the Classic, though. Can we just stay away for 1 more year? Because it's inevitable, but maybe Tucker Smith rights the wrong and takes 2 seconds and turns it into a win this week.
All possibilities, for sure.
Hand out the 52nd berth to the Classic, next year's Classic at Lake Ray Roberts this week.
I don't know if I've ever seen this many. I think we've had 5, maybe 6
Double
local
qualified.
anglers win. You had 4 in a row to start the year. Easton wins at Leach. We could have a local, somewhat to here, win as well.
Bill Lowen, when you looked at that police lineup on Ronnie's screen there, who among those 8 would be the biggest threat when you think of the Classic at Ray Roberts?
It's hard to pick one of those guys. The Classic's a special event where there's no points on the line, anything like that. So a lot of guys just go all in to win. I mean, let's face it, nobody remembers who finished the 2nd at the Classic. And when I look at the whole Classic field, anybody in that field could win. Doesn't matter if it's their first time there or their 20th time there. And like I said, it's a special event. It's all about winning, and guys fish differently when it's like that. When there's no points or anything involved. So to be able to pick one out of the lineup, it's impossible to do that, because always at the Classic, crazy things happen. A guy that's not even on the radar comes back and wins.
You can't even look back at that 21 Classic, because that was in the dead of summer.
Right, exactly.
This will be in March.
What was very cool was that Ray Roberts Classic, first time we had been there. I think it was the 2nd time we'd ever had a Classic in Texas, counting Texoma, which is split between Oklahoma and Texas. And we had a nation angler, Justin Carr, do very well in that. We also had Chris Jones from the Opens do very well. So that was a tournament where a lot of unknown anglers made their appearance at the top.
Night call. That fish came on just a Damiki rig. I'm throwing a 1/2 ounce all week because there's big schools swimming around and you got to get down on them quickly. Usually I wouldn't throw a 1/2 ounce. Bait doesn't work as well with the 1/2 ounce, but I have to throw it here to get it down to the schools because they move fast chasing bait and you got to stay on them. Calls a little bit.
Well, there you go. You got to listen to these Canadians. We know from Jeff Gustafson when they talk about getting it down deep for those fish, and that is going to be our Bass Pro Shops Top Lures with Evan Kung right there.
Tristan McCormick just bumped into the top 10 with more than 8 pounds. He's one of our guys who started the feat that Easton Fothergill copied this year with winning the Classic bracket, making the Classic through college, and then winning an Open to get in there.
Yep.
He could do it again.
Tristan said halfway through the year, he realized he was out of it to qualify for the Elite Series and said, I'm going back to trying to fish to win. Almost, you know, he gets a great finish at St. Clair.
Right.
And then, I think he had a good finish at St. Clair, a great finish at Leach, and he's trying to do the same thing this week and win. Wow.
That's third time's a charm.
Bro.
Oh, I missed it 3 times.
How did he miss that?
I thought he had him.
Me too.
Oh my gosh, dude. How is that possible? Damn cat. It's like the textbook spot for that fish supposed to be.
I think that was a mouthless fish.
Yeah.
He must not like the taste of it because he sure did get his mouth on it, it looked like.
Dude. That looked like a nice one. I never even swung. They just totally missed it. Yeah.
Second place, Cody Meyer, having a great day, a great first day here on Lake Martin. Good stuff from him. Getting the work done. Getting better and better. He's headed to the Bassmaster Elite Series next year. Coming up here just in a couple of weeks, October 25th, 26th, and 27th, we're going to take you to Apalachicola Bay in Florida for the, I believe, the 4th edition of the Yamaha Bassmaster Redfish Cup. Going to be some good competition, Florida style there. 10 teams with the champions from the leading Redfish tours competing and some Bassmaster pros.
Boom! Get that. Don't give up.
Any short-sighted spy in the field can provide you with images. Only the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams provide tactical reconnaissance. High-resolution photos and videos paired with detailed intel of where game is most active. Built for simplicity, just turn on your Edge 2 cell cam and it will auto-connect to one of the 4 major cellular networks, while our easy-to-use app arms you with game plan so you can determine where and when to hunt. Don't just capture images, gather intelligence.
Discover the Dakota Lithium DL Plus 135 amp-hour battery. With dual-purpose 135 amp-hour deep cycle capacity and an impressive 1,000 cold cranking amps, this innovative battery is equipped with even heat technology, allowing charging even in temperatures below 32 Fahrenheit, and boasts power gauge Bluetooth connectivity for real-time monitoring. Dakota Lithium, engineered to power your passion from bow to stern.
Be your beast of burden, an ally in enemy territory, overgrown, nasty, unkind. Throw me in and watch me swim. Mother Nature may be tough, I'm tougher. I'll take you where chaos is the cost of entry, where the fish are worth the fight. If you ask me, the bigger the question marks, the better the quest.
Every day, we live to serve you. On the farm, our tires work as hard as you do, ensuring a bountiful harvest. We empower your discovery beneath the surface. We stand tall with you to conquer timber. We maximize efficiency in an interconnected world. we help you build the foundation of tomorrow. No matter the job, we know that your success is our success. Because at Maximum Tire, we get the job done.
Our SV spool design is made with one thing in mind: casting control. Whether it is casting lightweight baits, skipping, pitching, or casting into the wind, the Tatula SV reels virtually eliminate backlashes when set properly. Now with our groundbreaking technology and innovations, backlashes can be a thing of the past.
Watching the St. Croix Bassmaster Open at Lake Martin, presented by 7 Reels, sponsored by Minn Kota, by Bass Pro Shops, and by Skeeter Boats. Plenty of action this morning on Lake Martin, a very different sort of place. Mature lake, one of the oldest man-made lakes of any big size here in these United States. It's coming up on a centennial soon. It's been fun to watch these great achievers all season long, throughout a long season that started the first week in February, taking us all the way into October. Dakota Ebear, who started in our Tackle Warehouse EQ top 9 today. That is key as well, because it's a big story working here today. Only the top 9 in points are going to go over to the Bassmaster Elite Series for 2025. So looking good for now. In that position is second place today, Cody Meyer.
What the heck? Just hung on the other side. We'll check, but I don't think. I mean, it's got to beat 145. 145 is pretty small. $141. All right, let's go back in here.
We're now to Matt Adams, starting the day in a 10th spot. T-E-N-S-E, tense spot, not the 10th spot, but the 9th spot. Tied with Bo Browning for that.
It's not very good.
Critical
Not for me
position.
I have a lot of short strikes, a lot of short fish. I have 4 for right around 6, probably a little bit less. Wind is playing havoc on some of the stuff that I've been fishing, but I'm just now getting to the time of day where I was catching them, you know, the last and good in practice. So we'll see what transpires, but it's not very good right now. So fighting off voices. And anybody that's ever fished this sport knows exactly what I'm saying. We're going to continue to run docks and some brush, and I need to get up to 8 pounds first, and then try to start working my way towards 10 or 11. But right now it's just getting bit, and it's not been nearly as easy as it has been the last couple of days. I don't know if that colder weather this morning, or cooler weather this morning, played with them or what, but I'm not getting the same reaction on my bait that I've been getting. I was hoping that these fish that I found in practice would still be here. There were several underneath this dock in practice, but I'm not seeing as many.
Matt Adams, like Cody Meyer, 41 years old. He's fished pro starting back in 2005, or Matt has. Probably about the same time for Cody Myers. I know he's done a better part of 2 decades over at FLW.
Yeah, absolutely. He won't be a rookie next year. One less guy in the rookie class.
Yeah.
He'll be a part of the rookies, the first year guys, but he won't be classified to win Rookie of the Year.
Because of his winning.
He's too rich.
Too rich?
He's too good at fishing.
Glad they changed that deal on the rookies.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first year on the elites was Fred Rambonis and Jared Littner and all the guys, Steve Kenny that came over from FLW, so I got stuck right in the middle of all them.
Here's Emil Wagner. Hanging in there in the top 20. He's hooked up again.
Cool. Yeah.
Every time we go to him, he catches 2 or 3, so.
Yeah. I always want him to be better on the jig, you know? Coles by 0.05. 1.16 for a 1.21.
Ounces.
That is
You're
ounces.
talking how important it is, though.
That is the definition.
Yep.
Bill, anybody? I mean, have you can you think of any other approaches people might take out there that we haven't seen employed today?
You know, I think, you know, after today, obviously, because we're with our top 9 in the points, I think you'll see some of this fall shallow type stuff come into play. You may see some guys up the river or in the back of some of the creeks. You know, obviously we've seen some fish getting caught on whopper plopper style baits, and I think you're going to see guys throwing buzz baits, cranking square bills, things like that, covering a lot of water, which obviously we haven't seen that yet. But I don't want to say I guarantee you, but I'm for sure we'll probably see that maybe come tomorrow when we put the cameras in the boats with maybe, you know, guys that may be leading or, you know, obviously all this is unofficial.
True.
But for the style of lake that Lake Martin is, obviously what we're seeing right now is definitely this fits this style of fishery.
I can see us, you know, when it comes to cameras tomorrow, maybe having a split. We see a couple of the guys. Right now, it looks like a couple of our guys on camera in the points race are going to be in the top 10.
Absolutely.
But so we'll see a little bit of a mix. Maybe we'll see a Bo Browning, depending on how he finishes, and a Matt Adams, the 2 guys tied for the last spot as they go into the last possible day of their season. So we'll get to see both pictures play out in front of us tomorrow on FS2 and Bassmaster.com.
It's going to be exciting to watch it unfold. This event of all the tournaments, you know, all 9 throughout the year, is probably going to be the one that comes down to that 3-pound bite. I mean, obviously we've seen that today already. I believe that 314 or 312? Is that big fish so far today?
He entered it as a 312,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
We think it's a little bit large.
Such just perpetually thinks everyone's lying to him.
Right.
You know, even if they weigh him.
I mean, we saw him weigh it. We saw him weigh it.
You know why he thinks that?
Because they have eyes.
Yeah. Typically, guys that think that are the guys that lie all the time, right?
Yeah.
So
Hey, wait a second.
Culling up little bit by little bit.
You know, they got the blueback herring in this lake. I'm looking forward to finding out what blueback herring do in the fall. I don't really know where they go, what they do, how they affect the fishing.
Some of these blueback herring lakes are dynamite all times of the year, and you hit it a week or two. You hit every lake a week or two in the fall. It could be very tough. But I mean, even some of the best lakes, even lakes we were planning to go to on the opens in September and October, it takes 10 pounds a day to win.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
because they just go so pelagic. But then the lake starts turning over, Bill, and that water, actually, it comes back into the shallow water guys' hands, you know, because that's the best oxygenated water is on the bank.
Absolutely. My opinion with blueback herring in a lake is it just messes the whole lake up. That's just my opinion.
You can't work your jig quite quick
enough. Like they don't get on the docks, they don't get on the wood. I'll just be out here in the middle.
They're floating in space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kentucky 25-year-old Dalton Smith, second one to double digits, 10 pounds, second place right now. Got ahead of Cody Meyer in third. Behind Dakota Bear with 10-13 on Bass Track, our leader.
Paul Marks hanging in there in the top 15 so far.
I had Tucker Smith say there's going to be 40 bags 6 to 8 pounds. So that extra pound, that 9 pound, you could, gain 40 spots.
Just like a northern smallmouth event.
Paul coming in here 6th place. Like a Warehouse EQ points on the season. Angler from Cumming, Georgia. Made all the cuts this year, except Santee, Cooper, and Lake Eufaula. This was his great start. Okeechobee went top 5, 4th place, as a matter of fact.
They said they actually went down, him and Tucker Smith, maybe some others. They went down to Okeechobee to pre-practice before off limits. We're in the lake, never found anything worth fishing in the tournament. They'd show up tournament day and go try something different, and boy, did they find something that they liked in the Rim Canal. And then we got to see him back-to-back top 10s to start the season. Ouachita, what a drastic difference with just a week between, Tommy. We're in Sunshine, Florida in February, and then we go to Ouachita where it was 75 degrees on day 1, and it was 41 degrees or less on the final day. Kyle Jesse would argue it was -7 out there on his home lake.
Probably felt like it. I can feel over there. In the Mississippi River, what a great one that was during.
Got to see Paul Marks catch some smallmouth, but he also was up there throwing, I believe, a crankbait, also frogging for some largemouth earlier in the day as well. And man, just so stout. That's just one of those deals. It's like, I'll take all those top 20s.
Oh man!
If you're gonna have some learning lessons in there.
It's amazing he's there with 2 finishes in the hundreds.
Hey, that's good thing. Crazy. He will not have a finish as low as 105th next year on the Elite Series. He'll probably top out at 104th, maybe. That'd be as low as he can get.
Take that out of your list of fears.
Already going to be higher than his lowest.
As you know, on the Elites, that is no bueno.
That's not the place you want to be.
No. Paul and his dad, both avid tournament anglers. Dad owns the tackle shop where he works over there at Lanier. Back over to Andrew Loberg.
I didn't know that he did that. I didn't know that Paul's dad owned that. But it makes sense why he is known as Paul Marks nationally, but he's known as Paul Jr. locally.
Oh, really?
His dad's got a reputation around Lanier. That's interesting.
There we go. Stop that, stop that, stop that. Ow, I got my leg. How's that gonna work? Ow. Sorry, AFCO pants. We'll take it, man. That was a sick bite. Seen a little group of them out off this point, and buzzed that Demiki rig out there, and fired it out there, and a couple started hitting it. Got her in the boat, baby. I like it.
Loberg, hold and serve out here.
Not surprised one bit at all.
He's good. He's strong. He's shown us multiple times during the course of this year that he can run with this fast crowd out here. And it is a fast crowd. Very, very hard to get to the top with such great competition here in the Bassmaster Opens.
So we're not all professional anglers. We don't all compete on the biggest stage. But inside us all burns the same fire to be a champion. It's why you get out early, brave the toughest conditions, point the bow toward adventure, and put the hammer down. For whatever trophy or fish or memory you're chasing, count on a Mercury Pro XS outboard, engineered to deliver the speed and reliability you need to power the champion inside you.
Out here, it takes a certain type. The type who's always the first one out. The type who knows deep down everyone else is just fishing for second. Enter the Apex Series. See more fish. Seize more victories. Settle for nothing less. With unrivaled clarity, it's the top fish finder for the most demanding type of angler. Only from Humminbird.
Each Caymas boat is a masterpiece, created by the hands of the finest craftsmen in Middle Tennessee. Our team isn't just making boats, they're crafting legacies. Caymas stands for quality, craftsmanship, and performance without compromise. Join us and experience why every journey on a Caymas boat is about more than fishing. Caymas Boats, crafted for excellence, built for adventure.
Beautiful coastline, diverse waterways. It's a nature lover's dream. It's some of the best fishing in the country. It's New York State. Discover the possibilities in 7,500 lakes and ponds, 165 species of fish, and thousands of miles of coast to explore. Catch all the adventures waiting for you. Serenity or sport, it's easy to love New York. Plan your world-class fishing getaway at iloveny.com.
Any short-sighted spy in the field can provide you with images. Only the Moultrie Edge 2 cell cams provide tactical reconnaissance. High-resolution photos and videos paired with detailed intel of where game is most active. Built for simplicity, just turn on your Edge 2 cell cam and it will auto-connect to one of the 4 major cellular networks, while our easy-to-use app arms you with game plan so you can determine where and when to hunt. Don't just capture images, gather intelligence.
We're all sick of those deep voice industry buzzwords. Let's actually talk about something fun. Swim baits. The issue is it's intimidating for most anglers to gain confidence in throwing something this big. At Clutch Swim Bait Company, our social media posts, our videos, and our website is all dedicated to helping you, the angler, gain confidence in throwing these big baits. Beginner to advanced, we provide you the products and resources to help you catch more game-changing fish. If you'd like to take your swim bait fishing to the next level, check us out on social media or at clutchswimbaitco.com.
Past the halfway point into the last part of the last half of the day at the St. Croix Bassmaster Open at Lake Martin. Presented by 7 Reels. There is your unofficial leaderboard as it stands right now. Dakota E-Bear, 10 pounds and 13 ounces on top of that one right there. Cody Meyer tucked into second place. Dalton Smith of Kentucky, Joey Nania from here in the state of Alabama, and Austin Cranford of Oklahoma in the 5th spot. We also see a familiar face from this season, Tristan McCormick in there as well, and some others. And be a lot more changes to come as we go through the day. These anglers are going to fish till about, what, 2:30 for the first flight times? That's when they'll check in.
Yes.
There at the Wind Creek Park.
I can't help but look at that top 10, and I have to retract the young guys being low-key and calm. You said Austin Cranford. He is one of the most wired guys. So if we had him on Bass Live tomorrow, he is a young one who is wired up like Matt Adams, so I'm excited about that. But yes, 2:30 first flight, and then obviously there's only 10 or 15 anglers per flight till we get to our 120. So it'll be spaced out plenty for the weigh-in. No pauses, no delays. It should go off without a hitch.
Here with us today, great having you here, Bill, and you'll be here for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely.
As I understand it, that is terrific. Some great insights from you. How big a surprise is it to you? I mean, you know how strong these fields are. You've tested some of it recently here to see the two most guys with the two most fanfare coming into this Open Series, 1 and 2 on top of the leaderboard on the final day, final event of the tournament, first day.
You know, these guys, like I said, I fished the Opens this year, kind of to see what was coming, and every event they blew my mind, and obviously, as you can see here, they're at the top again. So
you can't keep that great talent down.
It's no surprise. Well, you know, the stepping stone to get to where we are today is unbelievable. That wasn't available when I was coming up, but now, you know, high school, college, just the opportunities are endless. And I'm excited to sit here and watch this go down. I love the low weights. I love that it's a grinder deal. I love the fact that we're probably going to watch somebody make an adjustment late on the third day, maybe tomorrow, whatever. They're going to get that better than average bite, and they're going to set themselves apart. I also love the fact that we're fishing an event where they didn't get to come pre-practice. You know what I mean? This was a straight-up tournament deal or a practice deal, and the guy that figured it out the best is going to be the guy holding the blue trophy at the end of the year. Absolutely. It's going to be exciting.
We're going to get a good treat this afternoon with Matt Adams being one of our guys on camera that didn't have a limit by 10:30 this morning. He's going to be one that's going to make a lot of adjustments this afternoon and really push the buttons there to see what he can do, because he's tied for the last spot in the points. You're either going to make the elites or you're not. You better not hold anything back.
All right. And Sucha, Dakota Hebert's 3-pound 12-ouncer, still our biggest bass
yeah,
today.
that's by far the big bass. Cody Myers got a 2.5 pounder, and that's the second biggest fish today.
All right.
A lot of 2-0s.
I'm saying it gets challenged.
We got
I think
time.
it'll be
Yes, I agree with you.
We'll see a 5-pounder this week. Someone will catch one 5-pounder.
All right. Got a little more fishing to show you here on FS2 this morning first, though. So let's get back to the man who started on top of the points mountain to begin this tournament, and that's Minnesota's Easton Fothergill.
The man everybody's chasing.
Still ain't big, but
You know, he made the comment earlier today that he's been able to average about 11 pounds every day of practice. You know, obviously throwing a jig, is what he said. Keying on those better than average bites.
he ain't much bigger though. One and a quarter.
There's 4 ounces to the better there for Easton Fothergill. That matters. Absolutely. Back out to Paul Marks. Paul Marks having a good day. That's a good fish. A little heavier than most that we've seen.
White.
Tucker Smith, 3rd place in points to start this day 1. 35th place in the tournament, though.
Finally.
That's his number 5th fish, he's just said.
Yeah, got his 5.
What, you want me to put it between two pieces of bread or what?
Make a sandwich.
You can leave now.
We've seen some things, Tommy.
We have.
Offshore. We saw some cranking this morning from Emil. He told us he would, and he followed through and had a quick start. Saw, obviously, the dockfish we mentioned. We saw some topwater. Dakota Ebear. I mean, all you want is topwater fish. He's got the best day so far.
Yeah, good diversity today. That's what we always love on Bassmaster Live. Action will continue on Bassmaster.com starting at noon Central Time, 1 o'clock Eastern. Right around the corner here on FS2, we got live soccer for you, UEFA Nations League from Riga in Latvia. It's Latvia versus North Macedonia, so stick around for that. We'll be coming up tomorrow morning back here on FS2 at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. Day 2 action for you're on Lake Martin. Appreciate you being with us here today. And again, we'll see you a little later on Bassmaster.com from here at Lake Martin.